All right. Uh, so Micah and Shane, you are standing in the study of your now dead neighbor, Mr. Corbett, reading the following words written in his handwriting. After the king, the world, but after the world, the king. I have heard Camilla crying. I have heard Casilda sing. I have sounded Lost Lake Holly. I have felt what hungers there. I have walked the barren lake shore. I have breathed unwholesome air. I have seen the twin suns sinking. I have waited for the night. I have spied the black stars rising. I have bathed in reddened light. Inside the grayscale towers behind the foreign moon, the king in yellow comes in state. The king is coming soon. Inside the grayscale towers, my nerve has failed to ask what waits at tower summit behind the pallid mask. Inside the grayscale towers, the midnight masquerade. The king in yellow comes in state and does not come to save. I have traveled dim Carcosa. I have found the yellow sign. I have served the king who waits for us. I have known him gnawing time. I have brushed the scalloped tatters. I have read the only play. I have lied in every promise. I have shuddered every way. I have heard Camilla crying. I have heard Casilda sing. After the king, the world, but after the world, the king. Poem copyright Dustin Crummett, 2024. You find this while Lance is reading the poem, The King in Yellow.
Yeah.
Every so often you kind of wonder if maybe you should check in on him or something, but then you just sort of don't. You just keep browsing the shelves.
Lost to us.
Yeah, Shane, you pick up a copy of Paradise Lost, a book your Calvinist father used to read a lot. Um, and a sheet with that poem written on it falls out. It falls out. It was wedged between two pages where the following quote from Paradise Lost was underlined. Before their eyes in sudden view appear the secrets of the hoary deep, a dark, illimitable ocean without bound, without dimension, where length, breadth, and height, and time and place are lost, where eldest night and chaos, ancestors of nature, hold eternal anarchy amidst the noise and confusion of endless wars, and by confusion stand. You remember, due to your father reading that book, that passage comes during Satan's flight to Earth. To get from hell to the Garden of Eden, he has to fly through the primordial elements from which God made the world, and in the course of this finds this strange court presided over by chaos and eldest night. Um, uh, as you're both sort of contemplating this, you wonder, how is it that the police haven't come yet? Um, there were gunshots, policemen ran off. You'd expect them to be right there. How is it that Lance has had time to read this entire play uh, while you've been sitting there? And as you think that, suddenly you do hear sirens, and suddenly Lance closes the book, having finished the play, The King in Yellow. So I need to have a little bit of a side conversation with Lance. So what I'm going to ask you, Shane and Micah, to do is just turn off the volume on your computer so that you can't hear us. And I'll message you in our Facebook chat when I want you to rejoin. Is that all right?
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Lance, so you have now read, despite your premonitions that this would have irrevocable effects, you have now read the second act of The King in Yellow. So before I describe that, we just need to do two little bookkeeping things. First of all, on your character sheet where it says sanity, where it says san, and there's a number,
Yeah.
change that number to 0.
Oh, no. Okay.
And below that, there should be a little box that says permanent insanity or something like that.
Definite.
Yeah, you see that? Just put a little check mark there.
Okay.
Okay. And now you don't need to worry about rolling for sanity and all that other sort of stuff.
Okay.
Now, the important thing, here's the thing about the second act of The King in Yellow Lance. What matters is not really so much the content. What matters is what it has helped you to realize. And what it has helped you to realize is that you are the most important person on the continent. Your whole life, you felt, guilty about your privilege. But in fact, if anything, you should have been more aggressive because you realize that you are the agent, the avatar, the scion, the inheritor of the legacy of the King in Yellow, the lineage of Carcosa, passed through the European aristocracy, entering into the British nobility via intermarriage with the Castaigne family of France, brought over with the early colonists. You are the rightful heir of the imperial dynasty of America. You of course, your rule has been usurped by the socialist Roosevelt. But you know that there are true loyalists out there waiting for you. You imagine you're in contact with no less than 10,000 revolutionaries, and you expect that when you send the yellow sign, 100,000 more will rise up in New York State alone. Certain parts of the country, maybe California and the Pacific Northwest, will prove intransigent, but those might have been better left uninhabited anyway. And of course, reasserting the rightful order of things was never going to be without some cost. You also know that Shane and Micah have had the same revelation, that they are loyal to your revolution, but of course, that secrecy is paramount. And so if they ever act like they don't know, or they do something that's just them exercising good operational security. Of course, you can't talk about it openly. So yeah, does that all make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Great. We'll have them rejoin.
Good to go.
All right.
All right, we back.
We're back.
All right.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you hear sirens as Lance closes the book. And sure enough, soon the Boston Police Department posts up outside. They don't enter, they just establish a perimeter around the house for the time being. Do you go out and surrender to them? Do you just wait for them to come in?
All right.
Are
I
we
can't-
still nuts?
You feel a little better now that the situation has calmed down. You've had some time alone in the study. You're no longer like having an episode. You feel you've defeated Mr. Corbett. You're psychologically scarred from your experience, but you're in command of your faculties again.
Okay. Yeah, what do you think, Henry? And what do you think? Sorry, Lance, what is your character's name again?
Dives.
Dives.
Dives,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right.
Nice.
I mean,
Alright.
yeah, what do you guys think?
I can't go out to the cops. It can't
Yeah.
happen. I can't. I got too much history. I'm not going to surrender to them. We're not doing the paperwork. The more they look into my life, the more debts they will find. It's not happening. If we're going to send anybody out to talk to the cops, it's got to be Dives, ideally. So we got to check in on Dives. See how he's
I
doing.
don't know about right now, though. I mean, I guess our characters wouldn't know that this is not a good time
Yeah.
to send him
You
out
just
there.
know that he wrote a play.
Yeah.
Yeah, does he seem fine? Dives, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, how do I seem?
You seem a little you seem a little He looks like he's been maybe stunned or something, like something he's processing a lot, but he doesn't seem, obviously unbalanced or anything. Um,
Yeah, I mean, seems reasonable. We're all processing a lot, so I guess that
yeah,
seems reasonable.
yeah.
Well,
Um,
I bet Mr. Corbett had a back entrance. I don't want to talk to the police. I I'm sure if they come in here and catch us in here, they're going to think the worst. We should probably
So
try to escape.
so keep in mind that you did call the police earlier,
Oh, true, true.
and those policemen were present, so they do know that you've been here.
We did kill somebody,
You
which
did
is
kill someone.
not ideal. We're gonna have
yeah.
to we're gonna have to figure out a way to explain the fact that he's dead in a way that will be persuasive to the police.
He attacked
Uh,
us. We fought
Surely
back.
they'll find the basement and the corpse of the giant flesh creature.
Yeah, recall last time that one of the policemen did go down there and then ran out. The other one went out into the greenhouse. I mean they've received reports that something strange has happened. Maybe that's why they're not coming in the house immediately.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I am also police, but I think that only goes so far. Like, it's still suspicious. Um, yeah, I mean, did we've had some time in the house. Did we notice any back end? I mean, I know he's got the backyard with the greenhouse and whatnot.
There's an entrance into the backyard. They might have surrounded that too, though.
Well, maybe
We're
we
gonna
should
have
just,
to send somebody out.
yeah. I can go out. I can walk out the front door and talk to them.
Do you
Okay.
want to? I mean, I could go with you if you'd prefer, but if we think it's better to just have one. But between your charisma and my having a badge, that might be a good combo. But if I don't know, do you think you should just send dives? He's,
Well, maybe we should all stick together. We don't want to get split up. Uh,
All right.
yeah, we'll have to drag Henry out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We
Henry, if we leave, sorry.
can walk out with our hands up.
Okay.
Henry, your gambling debts are like the least of your problems right now. I feel like the events of last session would have recontextualized some things for you.
Yeah. I don't know. Police are police.
All right. Yeah. The three of you walk out with your hands up. They all have guns drawn and trained on you. They detain you for a while. They sort of seem to, they kind of keep a little bit of distance from you all. And for a couple hours they just remain in this perimeter around the house. Finally, some other people come. Um, People from the Bureau of Investigation, people from Department 29, the strange department that took over one of your cases in the past. You might remember, Micah. Um, Guys dressed in sort of like World War I, chemical warfare outfits, go into the house, gas masks and everything, go into the greenhouse. One of them, they set up a little tent on the lawn, and someone comes in to maybe two people come in to investigate you or to interrogate you. One of them puts a tape recorder, down. Another one, he like pulls out a rock and just kind of looks at it while you all are talking. The one who's not looking at the rock is like, obviously a lot has happened inside that house. Uh, it's clear that your neighbor was a horrible criminal. I'm just wondering if you could give me your version of events.
Sorry.
So this is all three of us at once, right? We're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I would just tell him the truth that
Okay.
we saw the neighbor with what appeared to be a body, taking a body into the house. We phoned the police, but thought it was so serious that we should maybe go investigate ourselves. And when the police showed up, this individual attacked all of us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He asked some follow-up questions. I mean, this broadly coheres with what he's expecting. It makes sense. You did like break and enter into his house, but he doesn't seem, that worried about that sort of thing. He's kind of taking notes. Every so often, the guy with the rock kind of like waves it over one of you. Um, Almost like an airport metal detector or something. Um, the guy is like, so yes, clearly Mr. Corbett was a murderer and a terrible criminal. We also know he was using the plants to in his greenhouse to create hallucinogenic drugs, and so
That's
yeah, anything strange you saw was undoubtedly due to exposure to those drugs, and I'm sure that you'll cooperate in admitting that to the media, and of course, any assertions to the contrary will have to be countered. And we wouldn't want, after everything you've already done, for you to have to be committed to an asylum or something. So we thank you for your service in rooting out this terrible criminal. And as far as we're concerned, this matter is closed for the time being.
yeah. Hold up. Wait a second. What the hell? It's not like there's only one person who went into that greenhouse. All right. The rest of us were
Yep.
right out. That dude was spitting smoke on his own.
I'm gonna I'm gonna put my hand on Henry's shoulder and just be like, Henry, maybe we should
Henry, what?
talk about this later.
I
He's
know
he's
what I
like
saw. Don't
he's,
bullshit me.
he's like well, I'm afraid as a known drunkard and criminal, a man with extensive gambling debts, a man completely untrustworthy, a man undoubtedly traumatized by his religious upbringing. You you would not be a credible witness in the eyes of the public, and furthermore, drawing attention to yourself by contradicting the official narrative might bring unwanted legal attention. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Barnes?
You threatening me? You think
Yes.
I'm threatened enough? Come on, Dive, you tell him. Tell him it's the truth. He's a trustworthy guy. He's got money.
Yes, well, I did see a great many strange things in there, but this story about hallucinogens, it makes sense. I mean, the things we saw couldn't possibly be real,
He's like,
right?
very good.
Henry?
Make sure you keep this one on his leash.
What the fuck? All right, what are you gonna say? What's your character's name, Micah?
Thomas.
Thomas. Come on, Thomas. Don't leave me here. Don't abandon me. You know the truth.
I would at least ask. Well,
I've done plenty of psychedelics in my day. That's not a psychedelic.
This is different. What I'm trying to remember what exactly happened last time, because now I'm assuming now, even once I'm out of my like state of psychosis, I do remember like
Yeah,
the being in the basement triggered the memories of what really happened, where I got my like
yeah,
facial scar. So do I
yeah.
remember like what happened? Because I know the Unit 29 or what have you took over that case after that happened, but what was
Mhm.
like the process after that? Like they know I was involved in that, but
Yeah, they know you were involved. You're not, I mean, they haven't said anything about that to you.
right, I mean like after that had happened, was there any sort of like official
You
narrative?
you never heard, I mean, there was a narrative that there was a raid on that place. But
Okay.
you never heard anything more about the follow-up investigation that they did.
Okay, so I wasn't like contacted by anybody in the prior.
No,
All right.
no.
Um, I guess I would ask, say, well, hallucinogens or not aside, did you find, we did find what I
Um,
would best call occultic imagery in his house, and especially his basement, if you uncovered that, or how it might be connected to anything else.
He's like,
Or
I'm sure you will be quite thorough in our investigation.
Didn't we
okay.
see a monster in the house?
You
We
did,
did.
yeah.
Okay, so I got a real easy solution to this problem. Can we show them the monster?
Oh, well, they found the monster.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
They're
it's
in the
a
house.
monster.
so I think so basically they want us to tell the public that it was just hallucinogens. We all know it's not, but I think Dives is kind of just playing along and being like, "Yes, officer, I will say, I will give the narrative that you want me to say." Um,
The guy who has the rock, he takes out a chain and there's a little hole in the rock and kind of loops it
Okay,
in.
yeah.
He's like, Mr. Barnes, could you look at me for a moment?
Why? What do you want?
He begins sort of swinging the
Gonna
rock.
get Men in
Uh,
Black.
uh, roll power, Shane.
Okay.
can I lend my power to that?
To what the FBI guy is doing.
Oh no, wait, to Shane.
No, you cannot.
I got a 12.
Oh shit,
Um,
nice.
okay, so that's a hard success.
No.
Yeah. I killed the guy.
Okay. Well, this guy got a 9 and he has a much higher power than you. Um, Shane, um, now that you think about it, you feel a little embarrassed. Their story totally makes sense. Yeah, you were just exposed to psychedelics.
All right, fine. I see what you mean. I'm not the brightest bulb in the bin. That's not even a phrase. See? So
Um,
I'm beginning to capitulate, I guess,
yeah.
under the influence of Lance, who I find to be eminently trustworthy. Um, but I'm also still kind of curious about what the heck this dude is doing to me. So I'm like, all right.
No, you're not. No, it seems
Oh,
totally normal. You just
oh,
you realize now that what he was saying made sense.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You probably lose one sanity as well.
okay.
Um,
Let's go back to this. Diamond 24. Okay. So I'm sort of becoming more conciliatory, saying, all right. So maybe I jumped the gun a little bit on this one. Hallucinogens, they do crazy stuff. I know. So what do you want us to say? You want us to say we got a little crazy, we went to our neighbor's house and found a guy who is not the best, but also not really, you know, a smoke
he
breathing.
was he was a serial killer. You found body parts in his basement.
No
He tried to
shit.
stop you, you killed him.
Can I try to read this guy with insight or something to see?
You can roll psychology.
Yeah. So I guess I basically want to know, is there any chance of them bringing us in with like giving us more information, or are they just trying to shut us out at this point?
Roll psychology.
56. I don't think I did it.
And what's your skill?
Oh, it's 10%. So no.
Oh, yeah. No. They're a closed book to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I suppose all I'm gonna do at this point is kind of like nod along, and I'll give them like, a card with whatever contact information, let them know like I'm federal as well. So if you have any follow-up questions, here's my information, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen similar cases before, so.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, oh, we know. We know.
These guys are assholes. Right.
Yeah.
They
After oh, go
no,
on.
just do they so if we ask them can we just ask like, are we done here? Do you want to can we
Um,
go home?
he's
Can we
like in a bit.
all right. Do we have to talk to anybody else?
No, just wait here.
I slump back in my chair feeling bored,
Okay.
defeated, but also
I'm just fine. Do it. We'll do whatever they want.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
they leave you in there for a little while. Then after a bit, they come back. They say, "All right, you're free to go."
Free to go. All
All
right. Do you mind if we take a brief look? I think I left something upstairs. Would you mind if I went and grabbed it real quickly?
Yes, we would mind.
Oh, great. So I don't know. Do we stay? Do we leave? What do we do?
I wouldn't really have any options here. We gotta
Yeah,
go.
I mean the alternative to you leaving is you leaving for a black site, you know. It's
Yeah. All right.
That could be an interesting turn for our characters to take too, but I think it'd be pretty one-dimensional.
yeah. Yeah, you all leave. Uh Lance, over the next couple weeks, the Bureau of Investigation maintains a barricade around the house. You see them, they take out all of the plants, they take out boxes from the house. They dig up the entire backyard and on trucks take away the soil. Eventually, they tear down the house completely to the ground, to the foundation, and rip up the foundation and take all of the materials away on trucks. And at the end of this process, all that's left of Mr. Corbett's house is just a hole in the ground where it used to be. Um, uh, the public story is that all this is because of toxins from his drug lab and stuff. Everything had to be torn out and taken away for safety reasons. Could seep into the water supply otherwise. I need to have another little sidebar with Lance. If you all could just, this will be the last one. If you all could just turn off your volume for a minute. Okay. Lance.
Yeah.
So one day you're walking through the park. It's a nice day. You're thinking about your destiny. You see across the park a white marble building in neoclassical style. One of the government lethal chambers that the socialist Roosevelt is closing down. You can't imagine how misguided this policy is. You think about how you'll reopen them once you're in charge. You get back home, you check your mail. You have correspondence from various revolutionaries you're in touch with. You also have an invitation to an auction at the White Point Hotel out in rural Massachusetts. The auction will be selling a very unusual item, a disintegrator device. There are pictures of it, destroying trees, destroying statues, just annihilating them. This is a prestigious, reputable auction, and it occurs to you that it would be extremely useful for your revolution to get your hands on this disintegrator device. And you think you might as well. You're allowed to bring other people if you RSVP. You might as well bring Micah and Shane with you and go and purchase this device.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, go on.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Is there any more
Okay,
information
great.
I need to know, or?
Not really. I mean, there's Micah and Shane were planning to go out anyway. Prohibition has just been repealed, so they were going to go out to a bar, so you could go meet them that evening and tell them about your plan to bring them along.
Wonderful. Do I know if weapons are allowed to be brought to this auction?
You could probably, if you kept a gun in your trunk or something or in your luggage, no one's going to search it or anything.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. And I'll tell them to rejoin.
Hello.
All right. You all are both going to a bar tonight to celebrate the end of Prohibition. Um, yeah, you both head in. Lance has already gotten a table. Um, yeah, you say hi.
Hey.
This is the best day of Henry's life.
Oh,
I've
hey,
already, I'll say I've
Lance,
already bought
buddy.
the, hey, I'll have already bought like the nicest, I don't know, alcohol that is in the bar and have it waiting on the table.
I would like a full round of your finest alcohol, Micah. Alcohol for the table on the rocks. Nah, Lance already knows what I like. He's ordered some, I don't know, some kind of bourbon, probably.
Yeah, say Henry seems like a bourbon guy.
Yeah,
No.
not me, but him would definitely.
Okay. Have we like seen each other in the week since the house and now, or is this like our first time meeting up?
I don't know. It's up to you.
I feel like I would be like phoning you guys. Actually, no, maybe I wouldn't be phoning you guys because I would be worried that the lines are tapped or something.
No, okay, he's good. Um, I mean, I would have been at work. Has anything like been different like at work for me, or just same
No,
old, same old?
no.
Okay,
It's just
cool.
all kind of, it's kind of just been life as usual with the exception of this weird event.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we come in, we say, we're having exchanging our usual pleasantries. Henry is asking Dives for money here and there in veiled speech. And then
Had
I,
3 weeks to get a job, Henry.
yeah, unsuccessful. And at some point maybe he's like, yeah, Thomas, you heard anything from those cops at your job? You heard anything about that case that opened up? Was it 3 weeks you said?
No, I haven't heard nothing. I'm in a different department. No chatter about it. That's come to me.
Jeez. Anyone ever ask you any questions?
Not since the day they questioned all three of us.
Jeez.
I've
You
dealt
know,
with I've dealt with those guys once before a little bit, not directly, but they're um a bit isolationist. They do their own thing. They don't talk to other departments much.
what about you, Dives?
Sorry. Yeah, what about me? I've just been doing nothing really. Watching that house get torn down and built back up. Or sorry, no, torn down and dug away.
No.
Oh yeah, would we? I
You
guess if we haven't seen you, we wouldn't know about that. I guess you would have filled us in. We would have been like, oh, they took like the whole house.
They took the literal dirt. There's a pit there now.
Okay,
You ever
cool.
notice you happen to notice what happened to that those books they had up there in the library?
Oh, I assumed that they were all taken. I'm sure.
All right. Um,
Is it all
yeah,
coming
you
back to you now, Henry? You sort of forgot there for a bit.
that tends to be the case with most things these days.
you do Dives have some news to give them about the invitation you've received.
Oh, right, yes. Fellows. Oh, by the way, also, would I notice any government agents or anyone like that spying on us?
Um you see many people you judge to be suspicious, Lance.
Oh, okay. So sure, I'll lower my voice and
Yeah.
speak hushed as I lean forward. Well, there's an auction going on, pretty soon. I'd like to go and try to buy something. What do you guys think about coming along with me? Maybe a bit of support, a bit of extra muscle.
By what?
You mean
Uh,
muscle at an auction?
Well,
What kind of place are we going to here?
there will be drinks. There will be a lot of
Dude,
wealthy
I'm in.
people, and
Let's go.
every very rich person has a bodyguard, right?
I suppose what are you looking for any sort of item in particular or charity? What kind of auction are we looking at?
It actually sort of kind of pertains to that house and Mr. Corbett. Um, well, not directly, but it's, well, magic, I think.
Oh,
Yeah. It seems there's some sort of magical object. Maybe I don't know
Come on,
much about it. But
come on.
well, we saw for ourselves. We saw it's real, right?
You know magic is against God's law,
Is it? Is it really?
unless it's a miracle.
Well, maybe that's what this is.
and those ceased in the 1st century.
I know, I was about to say, miracles have ceased.
We could bring them back.
All right, whatever you say, Dice. Listen,
So someone's got you on the hook to buy a magic artifact.
Oh, no, no. No one's forcing me to. I just, I figured I have a lot of money and maybe we could do something better.
whatever you say, listen, I know we're friends. I know I've known you a long time, Dives, and I'm happy to do this out of the goodness of my heart. Out of the goodness of your heart, though, I got somebody pushing me around for a couple of pennies. I owe them, and if we're gonna do this, listen, I'm gonna need if I'm gonna come through for you, you gotta come through for me. Capiche?
I feel like so every time Dive sees Henry, I feel like he's just got like a wad of cash that he's ready to for. So I'll just like hand you a wad of cash under the table.
Beautiful. Let's do this. I've been looking forward to it. Good to
You
see you as
just
well.
found out about it. If you're looking forward to drinking, I guess that fits in. I mean, I would be a
Yeah.
little bit more I mean, does Dive seem different to me now? Like, I don't know. This is kind of out of character for him to be like a little bit, uh, what's the term? Not aloof, but a little bit like closer to the chest with like what he wants to do. So, I mean, does he seem different to me?
I mean, you're right that it's an odd request. Come with me to this auction to buy a magical artifact that I can't tell you about.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would sort of shrug and be like, I mean, we're kind of in for a penny, in for a pound, the three of us with, some of this weird shit. But I mean, okay, where's the auction? Can you at least tell us that? Is it at
Oh,
somebody's house, a manor, or a fucking basement somewhere?
no, it's White Point Hotel in Michigan.
No, it's in Massachusetts.
Sorry,
It's not that far
Massachusetts.
from you.
Yeah.
It's a couple hours drive.
The
Oh, God
White
damn,
Point
it's in a
Hotel.
hotel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know anything about it myself. I guess
Where does the artifact originate from?
you know what? I have no idea. I figure we could try to learn more about it once we get there.
God, please don't be Egypt. Okay. I mean, all right, if you
I'm
need
into
help.
this thing.
Well, if you guys don't want to come, I'm not gonna
No, no,
force
no. I
you
mean,
on, but
I don't have anything as long as it's, to get the day off work or something, which I usually can. Yeah,
we
sure,
went
why not?
we went through that crazy experience, and Mr. Corbett clearly was a wizard of some sort. He had some kind of magic. If we could find something that would level the playing field, maybe we could start investigating things like this.
We level the playing field. How many wizards you think are out there?
Well, I don't know. That's part of the fear, isn't it?
Are we sure? I mean, hallucinogens, maybe. I mean,
I was like, are we?
wizard, flesh creature. It is a little hard to believe in retrospect, don't you think? I mean, I was half out of my mind for most of that whole experience. I mean, are you sure we know what we saw?
I'm
And
pretty
if
sure.
you are, all right,
Henry,
hey,
what do you think, Henry? Do you buy the drug story?
Am I still under
Yeah,
this?
you buy the drug story, Henry.
Listen, I had a change of heart on the whole thing. I got to be honest with you. Wizards, that's just fantasy. I'm
Well,
looking.
All I'm saying is I don't know, but magic artifact, sure, let's check it out. Why not?
all right.
Magic. The only magic I believe in is money.
Just promise us you're not gonna get taken for a ride on buying some hook'em here, Dives.
In fact, so do I know more about this? Like,
Um,
are there more details I could give?
there are if you want to give them. I mean, you have the what you've received.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't write down everything you said.
Mm. Yeah, the divide. I mean, are you willing to just be forthcoming with them about everything you know?
You know what? Maybe I should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, guys,
Yeah.
this device, this magic, it's a disintegrator. How does that sound to you? It's like a gun, but instead of shooting metal, a little chunk of metal, it just kind of zaps something, turns it to
Listen, I've been looking for a new gun. I clearly have had access to it this entire
Make sure you bring your shotgun to this next scenario we're going into, please.
No, I do not have a shotgun. I don't have any gun on me, on my person. So
Well, we need to
listen,
fix that.
Well, bring one next time we go into like what's going to be a scenario.
Yeah, Dives could easily buy you one.
Yeah. In fact, there's probably like a gun store on our street right now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
all right. Well, listen, I'm
A
not going.
disintegrator? Okay. I mean, it doesn't sound
I
much
mean
more.
the story about the disintegrator sounds as weird to you both as it would in real
Okay.
life in the 19th. I mean,
Like, doesn't seem any more useful than a regular gun, but okay.
I mean, maybe if someone shoots a gun at you, you can just disintegrate the bullet.
Ah, so defensive weapon. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make sense of this. We'll go along. Make sure we get, I was like, yeah, just make sure we get Henry a gun this time of some sort. And, if he's going to be a bodyguard, it needs to be armed. I've still got my revolver. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go to
If
your
we're buying
place.
guns, yeah. What's up, Shane?
We can go back to your place, get my coat, so I can put a shotgun inside. And
Yeah.
then also, that sounds like the least useful use you could possibly put a disintegrator to. I'm just gonna say that. You gotta have expansive imagination.
all right. You all make plans. The auction will be this weekend. You all make plans maybe to meet up at Dive's place and head out to the White Point Hotel.
Oh, well, can we try to buy a gun first?
Oh yeah, you can buy a gun.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Henry, you might want a sawed-off shotgun so that you can conceal it under a coat.
One gun, please.
Your finest gun, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you literally can order guns through the Sears catalog at this point. It's not difficult to get. You can like buy dynamite at the general store. Like it's not difficult to get a gun.
God, we used to be a real country.
A proper country.
Like the Acme supply just drops the box down.
Yeah.
They'll saw it off for you at Lowe's. Just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
So how do we get to White Point?
Presumably Lance has a car and can drive you.
Okay.
We're not being tailed by any black vehicles, black SUVs.
Well, you're not traveling there quite yet. Lance and Shane, could you mute your computers for just a minute?
Uh-oh.
Wait,
Now it's my turn.
sorry. Here. Nope, there.
All right. Can you hear me, Lance? Okay.
Okay. Micah.
Yes.
Wait, am I supposed to turn my volume off?
What?
You want me to turn my volume off or mute?
Yeah. Yes, sorry, yes, turn your volume off so that I can speak to Micah privately. Micah, the next day at work, you're called in to speak with someone. He's one of the guys from Department 29. Uh,
Oh,
he's like,
cool.
Agent, I understand you're going to the auction at the White Point Hotel.
Yes.
He's
A friend
like,
of mine asked for assistance.
very good, yes. There was an attempt to sell this device to the War Department, but they refused to even allow a demonstration because the inventor had no explanation of how it worked or how he had managed to invent it, and wasn't able to provide them with plans to look over in advance. But Department 29 is interested in it. We're not quite as convinced that it's a scam as some people might be. And so he hands you a slip of paper signed by J. Edgar Hoover. He's like, your orders are to ascertain whether this seems to be a genuine device. If it does, you are permitted to bet up to $250,000, bid up to $250,000 on it at the auction, purchasing it on behalf of the U.S. government. Failing that, as a matter of national security, you are to take control of the device if it is legitimate. Take control of the device through whatever means necessary. You can call. He points to the paper, has a phone number. You can call in for backup from the nearby town of Kingsport right there if needed. Any questions?
Supposing the bidding on the part of the government doesn't work, would it be fine to
Take it as
perhaps?
a national security matter. Seize it.
Well, I could probably convince my rich friend that I'm accompanying. He's interested in the object. He could probably win it in the auction.
It needs to be in our hands at the end of the event.
All right, understood. If it's not legitimate, just let whoever take it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, understood.
Wonderful.
We're good to let them back in, right? Shane's giving me a thumbs up. Okay, yeah.
All right.
All right. And now I need to speak privately with Shane for just a minute. If the other
Hell
two
yeah.
could turn off the volumes to your computers.
All right.
All right.
right.
Shane,
Yes.
the night after you have a horrifying dream. You are a repugnant spider being held above the mouth of hell by God. He wants to drop you in, and only the merest caprice is preventing him from doing so.
Spiders in the hands of an angry god.
Yeah. You have this dream every night ever since your father read Jonathan Edwards to you. There's no significance to it. It's totally normal for you. That's all I had to say.
Okay. I just keep going.
Yeah. All right. Lance, are you back with us?
Sorry. Yep.
Okay. And Micah has wandered off, I guess. But
Micah.
presumably will come back in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you all head out to the White Point Hotel.
All right.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Yeah, it's honestly it's not that far, but it is the 1930s. You know, there aren't interstates, whatever. Like getting anywhere rural is a pain just because the roads are so bad and whatever. So it does take several hours to get out there. The timeline for the event is that you'll aim to arrive at around 4 p.m. There's supposed to be a demonstration of the disintegrator device at 6 p.m. Then after that, there will be a dinner, and then there will be a silent auction on the device. You arrive at the hotel, The hotel manager. There's a little plate that identifies him as Paul Gardner. He's at the desk. You can see there's a sign about the auction. This is, you have to go up kind of a windy mountain road to get to this place. It's ordinarily a ski lodge. It's, now it's not skiing season, so they try to do other events there. So that's why the auction is being held there. There's a town, Kingsport, at the bottom of the mountain, but you have to go up a ways. Yeah, there, as I say, there are signs pointing you there. They're expecting people who are not familiar with the area to be coming to this auction. Yeah, when you come in, it's maybe around 4 p.m. The manager greets you at the desk, checks you into your rooms. There are some other, this is the only event happening here right now, apparently. So everyone in the hotel is attending the auction. There are some people, kind of milling around in the conference room where things will be happening later. Some people have gone up to their rooms. What do you all do? You have about 2 hours until the demonstration.
All right. First thing I want to do is go and find somebody to talk to figure out what this place is.
Yeah, let's do that.
Real quick question. Is this item the only thing being auctioned?
This is the only thing being auctioned, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I want to know why are other people here? So let's go down to the main lobby, take a look around, see who looks like they'd be good for a conversation on this thing.
Okay.
That's a good question to start. How many people are here? Ballpark.
Not that many. I mean, some people could be up in their rooms or something. But yeah, you see there's like an extremely old looking man with like a maybe middle-aged or slightly old woman next to him. They're having a conversation with some sort of well-dressed man in his 50s, maybe. Sounds like maybe some sort of scientific conversation. There's a woman sitting at the hotel bar. There's a well-dressed Italian man who just kind of is looking around. He has some sort of assistant with him or something, and he's getting ready to leave and probably walk up to his room.
All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do I see anyone that I would recognize as, I guess, in the aristocracy or anyone very wealthy?
Yeah, you probably, the Italian man you actually recognize. He's Pietro Morsini. He's like a big financier. He lives in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of turn over to Dives and just sort of ask, listen, I get that you got a lot of cash, Dives, but look at the people who are here. How are we supposed to get a hold of this thing? What's the point of being here?
Well, I guess we'll see. I do have quite a lot of money.
I mean, Dives has like fuck you money.
Are you planning on making a purchase here?
I mean, yeah, that's the whole purpose of being here.
All right. All right. So
If
first
we
thing
can get that thing. Sorry, what were you saying?
well, the first thing we got to do is figure out what kind of money this thing is. What are we looking at here? So I want to go and I want to ask somebody about it.
Sure.
Let's go to this Pietro guy, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we go run over and hail him before he gets upstairs?
Yeah.
All right.
He sees you all. He sees you, Lance. He's like, "Oh, what's your last name, Lance?"
I think Dreyer.
He's like, "Oh, Mr. Dreyer."
Yes. Yes, these are my associates, Henry and Thomas. Are you also here to bid on the it's a device. Is it a device or like a relic?
It's a device. I mean,
Okay.
the picture you got, it looks like a sci-fi ray gun or
I
something
see.
that's like seated on a tripod.
I see. Okay,
Um,
so not exactly magic then.
except that you can't, except that like known science does not allow for this, you know.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll ask him like, oh, are you also trying to buy this device today?
He's like, well, if it turns out that it works,
Yeah.
um, I I've been to auctions out here before, and so the place does have a good reputation for me. I have to admit, I'm pretty skeptical about all this disintegrator stuff, but I have some family who live not so far from here anyway, so I thought I might check it out. At least it'll be good for a laugh, if nothing else.
Yeah. What do you think this thing would go for if it's real?
I don't know. I mean, if it's real, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. I mean, it's hard to imagine all the military and industrial applications it might have.
True. Yes.
Well, it
The money
won't
is
have
no
any if it
business.
can't be replicated. No
Yeah.
one knows how it works.
He's like, true, true. Yeah, that's a bit. I think that's what they're talking about over there. He points to the little group of three people.
I, I'm kind of curious. I want to just ask him, listen, Dives gets us into some weird stuff on occasion, but this sounds beyond the pale. Who the hell is going to put up a disintegrator at an auction?
Yeah,
You
who
know,
owns this thing? That's a good question.
He's like, well, I suppose it's that. He points at the super old looking guy.
old people and their disintegrators.
Hmm.
How do you know this guy? How did you hear about this in the newspaper? What?
He's like, I was sent an invitation, the same as Mr. Dryer was, I presume.
Right.
What?
Yes.
You didn't tell us about any invitation?
Oh, I'm sorry
I
that
think he did.
Oh,
did
I
I'm
can't
fairly
remember.
sure he did at the bar. He said he got an invitation for this auction, but I could be wrong.
What makes you
if
so
I didn't, then yes, I did.
All right, all right. Okay. So we
It's
know
just
that
funny.
the
Okay, I should have let that go because in canon, it's funnier that at the bar, Henry was already so drunk that he
Yeah,
didn't
he
remember
just
that at all.
forgot.
He never told us about an invitation. It's like Henry, he did. It's okay.
all right. So we know we got crazy old guy over there with his disintegrator. Do we want to go talk to him or do we want to go? I'm happy, or Henry is happy to go and just check out, talk to the lady at the bar. The closer he is to the bar, the better. He's willing to survey. Do we want to split up or do we want to all go and talk to the old man first?
Well,
I
I'd
mean,
go
if,
talk. Oh, sorry, yeah.
sorry, we're saying Lance.
I'd just say I'd go talk to the old man.
I'd go with you to do that. If we wanna divide and conquer, Henry, you can go to the bar, try to chat up that lady, get a drink, and we can go talk to the old guy.
All right, let's do
Or
it.
if we really want to divide, I can also go talk to the three people, but would you rather go together, Lance, for the
Yeah, it seems like we can do more together.
All right, we'll go talk to the old guy first and
Sorry,
Henry, you're going
the
to the
old
bar?
guy, to be clear, is one of the three people who are having.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Oh, there we go. All right, even better. All right.
Okay.
All right. So you all go talk to the group of three.
Oh,
Well, Henry, you go to the bar, or are you coming with us?
I'll just come with you for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, as you're getting up, you can tell the physicist is kind of getting a little annoyed with the really old looking guy. You can't really follow the science, but it's clear he's like not satisfied with this man's explanation of how the disintegrator works. And his wife, you gather the less old looking woman is the wife of the really old looking guy. And she's just sort of trying to like, well, we can all get along, whatever. um the old guy, he's kind of, it feels like maybe he's looking for an out. He sees you all walk up and he's like, oh, George Pelfrey. He kind of tries to like stand up to shake your hand, but then like winces, and his wife is like, just sit down, George, He's like, well, George Pelfrey, I invented the disintegrator device.
Oh, wonderful. Wow. And so you're the one that's selling it then.
Yes, yes.
How do you even get the idea of this disintegrator device?
He's like, well, I've been I've been an amateur inventor for a long time, and I guess eventually I hit on something that worked.
And you think the best thing that you can come up with to do with this machine is to pass it off to the highest bidder. Just throw it out into the world.
He's like, well, as you might have gathered, I've been having some health problems, and I want to make sure that Emmeline here is taken care of, and my children are taken care of. We don't have Social Security yet because FDR just got elected, and so poverty among us elderly people is very high. Um, in violation of Rawls' difference principle, which also won't be developed for another 40 years. And so I didn't invite anyone who I thought would be dangerous or whatever, but I want to make sure that I have something to leave behind to the people who depend on me.
Well,
Fair enough.
yeah, I'm sure we can help you there.
And listen, let's take a look at this scientist guy over here. Is he still
Yeah.
still in the conversation?
He's been sitting there. He's like William Walker. I'm a physicist representing a consortium of energy companies. They sent me out here to look into this supposed device.
Okay. Henry is still very skeptical about the whole idea of the disintegrator. So he's kind of asking Walker, listen, Walker, do you buy any of this crap?
He's like, well, I don't want to be rude, but I have to say the explanations I've gotten from Mr. Pelfrey have been woefully inadequate and violate very basic known principles of physics. So no, at present, I'm certainly not buying any of it. But I'm on the clock. I'm being paid.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
What
listen, I
Oh,
trust the
sorry.
man. I'll listen to that guy.
If did we? I guess we're all standing together, so I would have heard that. It's a what explanations have you gotten? Like ballpark. I mean, I'm not a physicist, but I mean,
He's like, well, they've been wildly inconsistent. So where should we begin, Mr. Pelfrey? His Mr. Pelfrey is like, well, Emmeline is like, he's not in good health. Please don't badger him, sir. It's you'll see that the device works later.
so yeah, perhaps a conversation for another time then, Mr. Walker.
He's quite eager. He starts, kind of well, at first he told me that it worked, and going through like various reasons why like the different things George Pelfrey has told him can't possibly work.
And so Pelfrey has told him multiple inconsistent explanations. Is that
Yeah,
right?
you gather it's sort of like he was asking for something and Pelfrey told him something, and then William Walker was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then Pelfrey was like, oh, well, what I meant was, and then he was like, that doesn't, So he keeps sort of getting his ideas shot down and then changing his story.
Interesting.
Well, clearly it's
Oh,
magic.
sorry. Yeah.
No, sorry. Micah.
Does it seem like Pelfrey's wife is trying to guide the conversation or kind of like control the situation?
You can roll psychology.
37, but I didn't beat my psychology.
10, yeah. Is any of you good at psychology?
Let me check.
He's like,
I've got like a 40 in it.
oh,
You could roll, Micah.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. It's a 35, so it means a regular success.
Okay. Yeah, she seems like she's just, she believes in her husband and she doesn't like that this snooty physicist is like running him down, She
Don't give this guy a Twitter, man.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, I mean that's just basically like the surface level. What it
yeah.
seems like is with
Yeah,
the
but
psychology.
you don't, as far as you can tell, it doesn't seem like she has any sinister agenda or anything.
And
I mean, with those,
is the disintegrator visible from where we are?
Um, yeah, there's someone as you're talking, someone is kind of setting it up in the garden outside.
Okay.
You can see, I mean, it's quite large, you know, it's like the size of a Gatling gun or something. And it looks very much like something that you would see like on the cover of weird fiction magazine, or you know, it looks, or like in a Buck Rogers thing. Like
Uh-huh.
it's like a big gun with like all sorts of dials and like tubes and things on it. It's in like a metal casing. Um, and it's resting on a tripod because it's apparently quite heavy.
Can we go up and okay, so we've basically talked to everyone that's in this area now, right?
You haven't talked to the woman at the bar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Why don't we talk to her?
Yeah.
can I, as we're walking over, if we get a moment where it's just the three of us able to talk,
Mhm.
I would want to ask Dives, like, you know, we never saw the invitation, I don't think, like he told us about it, but I would ask him, like, this guy says he's an inventor, or what, you know, what gave you the impression that this thing's magic?
Well, just and I guess do I have the invitation? Like, could I share it?
Yeah, you
Sure.
probably brought it so you
Like,
could
did
show
this
it to
guy
the
say
hotel
it was
guy.
magic, or are you just inferring
Um,
that?
yeah, I guess I was just inferring it on the basis of our past experiences. The last thing we saw was a wizard, and now I'm hearing about a machine that can disintegrate things. It sounds like magic.
Sure, it does, but you know, con artists are a dime a dozen.
Sure, sure. But I
I,
don't believe that what we saw before was a con, and I don't know. This is worth checking out if it's real. I can't imagine how they'll con us into believing something was disintegrated, right? I mean, it's going to be outside in the garden. There's no mirrors, no tricks.
you know, illusionists are clever, but yeah, point taken. I guess we'll have to wait for the demonstration and see how convincing it is.
Well, Thomas, how do you think we could see if it was an illusion? Are you aware of any classic cons that we could try and unravel?
No, I'm not a, I'm not a, there is no skeptical inquirer articles yet, so I don't, I don't have any sort of preset methodology. I mean, I suppose one thing is after, you know, after the demonstration before the auction, I wonder if they'll give us a chance to inspect the device itself, its machinery, inner workings. I mean, it'd be interesting to look at. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, I don't necessarily have a alternative suggestion. I'm just, it seems implausible. But point
Yeah.
taken, you know, we saw some implausible stuff. So.
I mean, and also that Italian finance minister, uh, why would he come if it doesn't seem believable?
Yeah, I mean, even he admitted he was skeptical. He's
Yeah.
just, you know, imagine you rich people get bored.
It's true. I don't have a real job, so
You and Henry have that in common, isn't that right, Henry?
Listen, let's keep this simple. I mean, it turned out that everything that we had seen during our previous misadventure over with Mr. Corbett turned out to just be a massive hoax. We know.
well, Henry, I don't believe that. Is do I have any ability to try and undo what's been done to Henry?
You do not.
Okay.
So it'll be as simple as this. We'll go out, we'll see a little just the little display of this device that you're so enamored with, Dives. And when you see that it's nothing more than a typical con job, you'll know that once again you have managed to be lulled and duped by fantastic stories that you could read and Pulp Fiction bought off for a penny at a local bookstore. So I
And-
look
and-
forward. I look forward to seeing you exposed as for the delusions that you harbor.
I mean, I suppose one litmus test we do have is if this asshole physicist seems weirded out by it, then there's some feasible reason. But
Yeah, I'm not interested in being tricked or swindled by another group of rich assholes. And I know the first time that this happened, it was hallucination. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to that bar and check what's going on with those drinks that they're inevitably gonna serve to everybody in this room.
You know what? That's a really good idea.
do your due
Let's do that.
diligence, yeah.
Henry is more intelligent this time, I guess. But
Yeah, let's check those drinks.
all right, I say we go to the bar.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit as far as possible away from the woman and let you guys do the talking because I am hideous.
All right.
I'm gonna
You
be
are.
looking down. I'm ugly as sin.
Okay. Henry goes up. He says, I don't know, what does Henry drink? He's gonna go for bourbon. I don't know, he'll get whatever for Dives. Dives probably orders like a musky. I mean, we go and we sit up. I say, all right. First of all, who's in the room? Do we have a bartender?
Yeah, there's a bartender.
All right. So do you work at this establishment? Is this your only job?
He's like, well, they only have special events here during the off season, so I mostly work down in Kingsport, but they have a driver who comes and collects the staff and brings them up when there are special events.
And what kind of folks do you usually see making purchases here?
He's like, well, the special events usually attract a pretty wealthy clientele. They're high-end things like this auction. Uh, when it's skiing season, you get a broader range of people, but
Interesting. Henry has not taken a sip of the drink yet. He's still skeptical about what may be going on in terms of the contents of his beverage. In order to gain sort of an idea about whether there might be something drugged in the drinks, he turns to the person who's sitting at the bar with them
mhm.
and introduces himself.
Yeah, she's like, Valerie Hines.
Valerie Hines. And have you been to this location before, man?
She's like, no, this is my first time.
What brought you here? Is it an invitation like Dives? Dives is
I'm
my friend, very wealthy, very good at getting me out of debt.
I'm working for a group of investors in Boston. I'm a lawyer.
All right. And what interest would a group of investors in Boston have in a science fiction story like the one we apparently find ourselves in today?
She's like, well, I can't say anything specific about who they are, but you can imagine if this device really works, that would be of significant economic value.
You say it really works, like there's a chance it might.
She's like, I bill by the hour, so I'm fine being here.
Kind of odd that they would send a lawyer, though.
Well, I mean, a lawyer to handle business transactions and things. It's not necessarily that odd.
Fair.
Yeah,
Well, that's
there
good.
are, of course, one reason to send a lawyer is so that if there's some sort of fraud, you can get the money back afterwards, right? But I do think that it looks like the agreement with the hotel concerning the purchase does allow for that. It's not just caveat emptor.
And let me ask you something. Do you believe we have any reason on earth to trust this old man spinning inconsistent stories to a group of scientists who don't even believe him?
She's like, it's certainly a very bizarre event, but the White Point does have a good reputation. They wouldn't hold the auction unless they thought that this was a real device, I think.
Or
What's
they
oh,
were intent on ensuring that we believe it's a real device. I turn and I look at the bartender skeptically.
Do we know who owns the white point?
You don't.
Figured not.
I'd like to ask, do you know what sorts of other auctions or auctioned items have been sold here in these rich events?
She's like, oh, lots of different stuff. I mean, they usually they have themed events, you know. So one year, yeah, where one auction might focus on colonial artifacts, another focuses on rare books, um, you know, art is common.
Yes. Art and rare books.
And
All
a
right.
disintegrator.
Yeah, and then a disintegrator. Well, very interesting. How much, if you don't mind me asking, have your business people authorized you to spend on this?
Just like, of course, I couldn't say.
Oh, shoot.
Thought that would work.
At this
Yeah.
at this point, I am too skeptical to actually take my drink. It's a small miracle in the case of bones. But
Can
I
I? Sorry.
go ahead.
Can I give it a sniff or like the slightest taste to see if there's anything off about it?
Yeah, it smells and tastes normal.
All right.
I like that you guys developed paranoid schizophrenia.
You know what, Henry? Here's the plan. I will drink and you will not. And if you see things and I don't, that means it's not because of the drugs.
Fair enough. I hate the way that this has been arranged, but it seems like the only reasonable solution at this point.
I just drained the drink then.
Okay. Yeah, you feel a buzz.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we see if we can get our hands on that device?
Yeah. You as you say that, you know, you mentioned the device, you all look out the window into the garden. You do notice it's getting very foggy out,
Oh.
very misty.
Is that normal for this time of year? That weather?
Do you ask the bartender?
Yeah, I'll ask.
He's like, this high up, not it's a little weird. It's not that weird.
Hmm.
I ask for how much longer we have to wait until we can see the demonstration.
He's like, it's for 6 p.m. Should be about an hour.
All right. In the meantime, I suggest that perhaps we should go back see are we staying in a room or are we just
Yeah. You probably have 3 separate rooms,
okay. All right.
assuming Lance sprung for 3
Yeah.
rooms for
Oh
you.
yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to take a look around a little bit more at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you want
As-
to look at?
Oh, go on.
So maybe we could begin by going back up to our rooms where we can discuss matters further
Okay.
in private.
Okay. There is another person who comes up to the bar while you're sort of plotting what to do.
Okay.
He
We-
orders a drink as well.
We turn and ask him,
Yeah.
what brings you? How do you feel about the stories we've heard of this device?
He's like, well, they're quite interesting. I'm Arnold Bradshaw of the Penhew Foundation.
Can't any of you people have normal names?
Lance, you've heard of the Penhew Foundation before. They're some sort of, you know, charitable foundation in Britain or something. You were under the impression they mostly did like archaeology type stuff, focused specifically on Egyptology.
Oh, okay. So, what brings you to a an auction for a strange futuristic device?
He's like, well, where my foundation is interested in all areas of human knowledge. And I suppose if this is a real device, it would be represent a number of important scientific breakthroughs.
Yes.
And what is it? How does somebody like you get tangled up in this if you study? Well, I don't know that what he
Yeah, you
studies.
don't know that.
Never mind.
Or I'll just say, I'll just be like, oh yeah, the Pentu Foundation study archaeology, mainly ancient Egyptian.
He's like, yes, we've been branching out a little bit more recently.
Into what other areas?
He's like, oh, he gives you, you can find out more about our programs if you send in for a mailer at such and such address. He gives you like a card, a little flyer or something.
Wonderful. Okay, I'll put it in my pocket.
Mhm.
All right. Well, good talking to you. Unless you guys have any comments.
I'm skeptical of this guy immediately based on his disposition.
I'm skeptical of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask so what's the guy's name again?
Arnold
Arnold.
Project.
All right. So Arnold, shoot straight with us. Are you somebody who could easily believe in a ghost story?
He's like, what makes you ask that?
Well, this is sounding a little fishy to me. This whole situation. I'm trying to figure out what kind of people this what's his name? Who's the guy who invited us all?
George?
George Pelfrey.
This George guy is inviting here. I'm not convinced that my friend Dives is the most skeptical of fellows anymore.
He's like, well, I wouldn't know about that, but
Hmm.
Should we go at this point, is the mist or fog getting thicker
it is, yeah.
already? Like in like 15 minutes or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, would you guys like to take a step outside, get a bit of air?
Doesn't look like there's a lot of air out there right now, but sure.
Yeah, probably.
Or we could go up to our rooms and talk.
I want to press Arnold a little bit more before we depart. Um, Arnold, do you consider yourself a Christian man?
He's like, why do you ask?
I'm trying to understand what brings folks like you to a place like this. A thing that has no business uh being under the control of a human being. Things that should be left to God.
He's like he looks around, Valerie and the bartender are chatting. They're not paying attention to you. He looks at you, Lance. He says, tell me, have you found the yellow sign? You know, Lance, that the appropriate response is I wear no mask.
Sorry, I had to step away a sec. Could you say that again?
He looks at you when the bartender and Valerie are distracted. He looks at you and he says, tell me, have you found the yellow sign? And you know that the appropriate response is I wear no mask.
Um, yeah, I'm going to say I wear no mask. I'd like to try and sort of fit it into almost like normal conversation. What could I possibly say? Dives is more clever than me. I don't know. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I wear no mask. I I'm a rich man. I wear it on my sleeve.
He chuckles. You both have just witnessed this exchange.
Okay, I was like, we heard this, right?
What the hell?
The fuck are you guys talking about? Uh,
All right.
Lance, your character likely interprets this as a sign that he's on your side.
Right. And sorry, what's his name again?
Arnold Bradshaw.
Arnold, right? Yes. Okay. Well, wonderful meeting you, Arnold. How long will you be sticking around?
Is like, well, I'll be here for the auction, for the entirety of the auction. And
Wonderful. Well, why don't we connect a little later? I
yeah,
think my friend wants to see our rooms for a bit.
sure, makes sense.
All right. Well, you guys feel free to continue with your crazy talk if you'd like. I'm gonna be heading up to see about our rooms. See if I can just get a bit of rest before we go and see this sham that y'all are pitching to us. I stumble off. Or no, I
Okay.
come up.
Thomas, are you going with him?
I'm probably gonna go outside to smoke a little bit and also like watch the machine as this fog rolls in to make sure no one's like fucking with it, and also just, have a smoke. And I'm probably gonna head outside and, find somewhere to sit and kind of chill out a little bit.
I go up to
Okay.
our rooms. Is there a telephone in the rooms?
Yeah, there's a telephone in the room.
So I go over to the telephone and decide to place a call back to Dive's residence, and contact his caretaker. The one who is still, I assume she's still present,
The landlady.
the landlady.
Um, roll luck.
All right. That's it. 32.
And what's your current luck?
Let me see. 75.
All right. The operator is like, well, of course that's a long distance call, so I'll have to establish a connection with the Boston Exchange. Fortunately, the lines aren't too busy now, so that shouldn't take too long. But if you just call back in about 15 minutes, I should be able to put you through.
All right, I leave the phone off the hook. We're waiting to make a call. In the meantime, I begin to go and I look over at Dives's materials. So I'm gonna leave and go over to see if I can get access to his room. Is it gonna be locked?
It's probably locked. Yeah.
All right.
Well, Dives, did you go up with him, or where are you going right now?
I think I would follow Thomas outside.
Okay.
Okay.
I probably would get a smoke off of you.
Got you.
All right, so I'm gonna hang back and just wait for my call to go through in that case.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah, you all are just smoking outside.
Yeah, I mean, observing, looking around. So it's like a garden area. How foggy
Yeah.
has it gotten?
It's getting very foggy.
Huh.
Can I sort of walk around and check for wires or strings or mirrors anywhere?
Is there
Yeah.
anybody else out here? I guess that's a question too. Like,
Yeah. I mean, there are some, there's a worker who set up the tripod. There are probably one or two security guards. There are some people setting up chairs for when they do the demonstration. But yeah, you can walk around. Roll spot hidden.
Both of us?
Yeah,
yeah, I guess I'll do
if
this.
you both want to walk around.
Yeah, give it a look.
Ooh,
See,
I got an 8.
Okay.
I got a 33, which is a hard success.
Okay. Yeah, you think you both give the place a pretty good look over. You don't see anything that would indicate trickery or anything. No trapdoors, no wires, no mirrors.
Okay. So yeah, I got an extreme success. So that means I check this off.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Do we check it on extremes or any success?
Any success, you put a check mark there.
Okay. I've played both ways, so always pays to check.
Thomas, I don't think that Pelfrey is really the man that created this thing. I think if it's real, it's magic, not technology. And
Jesus.
I mean, obviously, the inventor guy, he has no explanation for how it works. That's incredibly suspicious.
Kind of be smoking and nodding along a little bit, I'd say, if this thing is legitimate, it does seem most likely that he found it or inherited it or something. I don't know. Nothing from his story about the device quite adds up. With that, I agree. I mean, it's going to be hard to tell if this thing's legitimate, especially with all the fog out here and just a one-off demonstration, but I imagine it'll be at least interesting enough to stir up some bidding.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's not really the people currently guarding it and uh, working with it, the technicians who are the real owners, and if this Pelfrey guy is just some guy they chose to pose as the owner.
I mean, I don't know about you. I don't personally even know who owns this hotel. I mean,
That's
not
true.
quite sure where our invites actually came from. But I mean,
Was George Pelfrey's name on the invitation?
Yeah, I mean, it said that the invitation came from the hotel, but it said
Okay.
that he was the inventor of the device.
Okay.
right. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, why would a hotel that's previously done art galleries, colonial artifacts, and books be selling a science fiction device? I mean, best explanation I can come up with is it's an artifact of some sort, but I mean, it looks too new to be ancient. Maybe it's a side project of some famous inventor that's kind of a trinket. I tell you the truth, I don't know.
Maybe the machinery is just a shell, and the real device is underneath.
I wondered something similar. I mean, supposing it's magic, why would you need all this apparatus? It's the size of a Gatling gun. I mean, it's not really practical to use for anything.
Well, because no one believes in magic. Say, Thomas, do you really doubt what we saw? Because I mean, I'm sold. I'm having a hard time believing that you guys bought that story.
I'll take a drag and a deep breath and I'll say, what I doubt is that I know for sure what we saw. Not not quite positive. I did have a mental break. Thought I had some memories. I tell you the truth, I don't know. Whatever happened, it was odd. I try to keep an open mind, but I just don't know.
That's fair. It
I
was
mean,
rough.
talk about magic, whatever they did to Henry. Even
Yeah,
that was strange. We can agree on that. But I mean, that hypnosis is, yeah, it happens before, right? It's fine. It's probably nothing too weird.
I mean, it's pretty weird. And the mere fact that they could change his mind like that, that's proof that we were onto something,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
If it
maybe.
wasn't real, they wouldn't have come in and used some weird trick to mind control him.
They're certainly
My,
not telling us everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Henry, meanwhile, the operator has established a connection,
all right.
making an expensive long distance call on Lance's dime.
Yes. So first thing I do, I greet the landlady. Do we know her name?
It's I did I say Matilda last time?
Yeah.
I gave her a name last time.
Sounds right, yeah.
So I say, hello, Matilda. How is the new china that Dives purchased for you? Is it serving you well after our last incident? She's doing
She's-
well.
yeah, she's like, it's quite nice. It's been quite crazy over here.
I'm curious. I have to say, in the last couple of days, I feel as though, and I don't mean to alarm you in any way, I feel as though Dives has been acting a little unusual, and I am calling you because it's become pressing enough to me to just inquire as to whether you've noticed anything unusual about the fellow.
He's been acting a little odd, keeping to himself more than he used to, sending huge volumes of mail. I don't know who he's writing to,
Mail.
but
And you don't know what the contents of this mail is, do you, by any
no,
chance?
of course not. I mean, I don't read his mail.
Don't read people's mail. All right. Well, I have to ask, has he said anything to you? At the moment, he's not. It is not his words, but I find him to be a much more gullible fellow than he usually is. He's speaking about magic. He said something about a mask during a conversation at the bar today, and it's something that I've only heard in one other location. It's very unusual to me. Has he said? Do you know if he said anything to you that would
Mhm.
alarm?
Our recent conversations have all been about politics. He's been perfectly cogent, talking about all the damage that Roosevelt is doing to the country, how he needs to be replaced. Very, very, very reasonable and sensible to my mind.
He's not fond of Roosevelt, you say.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's this related to this so-called New Deal that the man is proposing.
Yeah, so the whole thing, yeah, I wonder if he has plans to go into politics or something, Dives. He said some things that kind of hint at that, but I don't know.
Interesting. I have to speaking for myself, I must say I'm rather fond of the Roosevelt family, particularly their desire to do something for those of us who might be a little less lucky than your tenant.
She was like, yes, well, I suppose there are always people who want to leech off of those of us who are truly productive and pro-social and so forth.
And with that, Henry is kind of miffed, even though he knows that he is not really the what she says is basically true, regardless might be the case for others. And just kind of curtly says, well, good day, thank you for the information, and hangs up abruptly. Curious about the politics thing. Because he's never really given much thought to what Dives' politics may be. It's not necessarily something they discuss frequently. And he wonders if this is something that may he's curious about the fact that it's become more exacerbated to the point where his
Yeah.
landlord take notice. So he decides to go back down and rejoin Thomas and Dives outside in the fog.
Okay.
As he's coming down, I guess the one thing I would ask Dives I forgot to ask earlier was what was that business at the bar about the yellow sign? It strangely reminded me of, those books in Corbett's house, and the basement, all yellow. What was that business?
Yes, don't you remember what we were reading?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I
little
mean,
bit of that.
well, how does this? What's his name? Andrew?
Arnold, I think, is his
Arnold,
name.
Arnold, yeah. How does Arnold fellow know about this? I mean, this were books we found in the house of at the very least, a madman, if not a mage of some sort. I mean,
I'm gonna look around. Is anybody like listening in?
No, they're just workers out here busy setting up.
I'll just lean in and quietly uh say like, yeah, it's some of that. He's someone who knows.
At
all
this
right.
point, I've made my way downstairs.
Do I notice like a squid arm coming out of Dives's jacket? Ah!
No.
All right.
Look, I'm not saying he's necessarily aligned. I'm just saying he's someone who knows of these things like we do now, right? We got to stick together, us little guys in this big scary world.
All
At this
right.
point,
Are we
I've
cool though, Thomas? Like this isn't too much, is it?
No, I mean, no, I'm just, I didn't expect other people to know about yellow signs and kings and whatnot.
I'm gonna like shush him and be like, please, please, let's. I'll be almost like the walls of ears. Like I'm a little
Yeah.
afraid someone might hear, even though there's no one around.
Yeah.
um as I come outside and I hear Dives talking about knowing all these things and this esoteric symbolism and things of that sort. I'm kind of like I'm giving him a look, like very highly suspicious, and I say, "Yeah, it sounds like you know a lot about a lot of things now. A lot of things like fascism." Uh, I say, no, I
Look, I just
Roll for
believe in trickle
fascism
down.
for.
no, I remember. I'm a man of the at least left-ish,
Uh-huh.
mainly because it benefits me. But I come down. I'm looking at Lance skeptically, and I say, I just got off the phone with our landlady, or with your landlady. I was checking in, and she said the most interesting thing to me.
Oh, yeah.
She's been telling me about I had called to just check in and see how the new China was doing, give her an update on our whereabouts. And she mentioned to me that you've become more interested in politics of all things. I
Well,
never took you for a political man, Dives.
yeah, I guess I spent most of my life not really making much of a difference in this world, and suddenly I feel like time is very limited, you know? Maybe we should be doing more with it.
Well, we all want to make a difference in the world, Dives, but what difference is it that you're looking to make?
A positive one, of course. Set
What
things
kind?
right. Make America great again.
Interesting.
I mean, what sorts of what do you think isn't right? What do you think shouldn't be corrected?
Well, at the moment, my own grandfather is in a poorhouse that he can barely afford, where he can barely afford to feed himself or my grandmother, who is sadly on the way to passing. And it seems to me that at the very least, if there's anything we should do for this country, it should be to stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves. Now, it seems to me from the conversation that I had with your landlady Matilda, that's not something that you would sympathize with.
Well, no, of course, I believe that, you know, everyone should be taken care of, but when you give tax cuts to the rich, that trickles down, that helps out everyone. It creates jobs, you know, it's complex economics, but
Isn't that what they always say? Let me ask you something, Dives. We had not spoken about this before. I'm curious as to when this interest in politics of yours began to take off.
you know, honestly, very recently. Um,
I was afraid it's
yeah, before our horrible encounter with that madman murderer, I was just sort of going through life with no real purpose. I think since then I might have found a purpose.
I look over at Thomas and I say, is this concerning to you at all? Are
Oh,
you
for sure. We're gonna have to kill this guy. No, I don't say that. Um, he's found a purpose, just Reaganite conservatism. Um, I would kind of shrug and say, I guess I'm not going to be able to convey like something with my facial expression to Henry without also conveying it to Dives. I would just kind of shrug and say, I imagine after what we went through, that would, reorganize the priorities of almost anyone, but um, Dives, it does seem to have taken an extra toll on you. Perhaps after this auction, we should just take a vacation, get some rest or something. Yourself a little time away from the city, perhaps.
That'd be wonderful. I'd love a trip with my two best buds.
Oh, I just said he should, but hey, we're coming
Oh,
along.
I'm
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
sorry.
No, I mean, I said you should take a vacation, but I didn't want to invite ourselves along. But hey, that works too. Like, yeah,
You,
no, for
you,
sure, we're buddies.
you guys didn't realize, but you're Dav's only friends.
You should take a
But
vacation sometime, man. He's like, that sounds great. Where do you guys want to go? It's like, oh, shit, I don't know, Hawaii. Um,
so Henry is still, he's gonna try and press Dives a little bit further because he's not satisfied with the midlife crisis explanation that's been given so far. And he asks Dives, he says, it's very interesting to me the kinds of rhetoric you're spouting in recent days. I have to ask, not to impugn your intelligence by any stretch, but where are you hearing this information? Because I have the feeling you had not heard it until very recently.
Where am I hearing about politics?
Yeah. Where'd you
I
get all these high-minded ideas of conservatism and taxation? Or no,
tax, tax stuff.
opposition to taxation.
Um, I suppose I've been listening to the AM radio and yeah. You guys know that Dives doesn't really have a job. He's independently wealthy. So he just has a lot of free time. If he wants to get hyper fixated on a topic, he can just spend the time studying. And maybe the last little while he's been doing a bit of that.
the public library,
Yeah, going to the public
reading up.
library. I'm sure there's like maybe even a university in Boston that he could have maybe gone to and done some studying.
There are
Maybe
several
also,
universities in Boston.
yeah, and maybe some of it's also just nonsense in his head.
For the first time, the thought crosses Henry's mind just briefly that he's not as comfortable as he once was with the idea of Dives purchasing.
Ah, yes, the homeless disintegrator.
Look,
Yeah.
Henry, your story of your parents, I didn't know that. I'm really sorry to hear that. Could I help you guys out in any way?
Of course, there's always fees to pay and money to be sent to someone or other who
I mean, yeah,
requests a fee.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, so he just asks Dives to pay off another debt of some sort.
Sure, and I think Dives will happily agree to that.
The the auctioneer walks up to you all. He's like, "Hi, I'm Daniel Wade. I'll be conducting the auction later. The demonstration will start in 5 or 10 minutes. So if you want to take your seats, things will be starting soon."
Get
Wonderful.
seats at the front if we can, because it's foggy as fuck out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can barely see this thing.
Henry wants to be as close as he can to spot any foul play.
Okay. Yeah.
Is
I
the
guess we
phys-
should let. Oh, sorry. What?
Oh, go on.
I was going to say, if the physicist is with us, we should ask him if he can try to test the staging area for any tricks, given that he's a scientist.
Yeah, he comes out. He asks before they conduct it if he can go, they don't want him like messing with the machine, but he goes and looks around and kind of puts his hand around, that sort of stuff. Some other people do that too. Valerie comes out, Arnold comes out, George Palfrey and Emmeline Palfrey, they come out. There's also another person, Pietro, the financier, comes out. There's also another person you haven't met yet, who comes out and sits as if he's potentially going to bid as well. Um,
And Arnold is here?
yeah, Arnold's there.
Okay. Does everyone have bidding paddles or?
It's going to be a silent auction. So they'll do the demonstration. Then there will be a dinner, and then you'll submit bids via sealed envelopes. And there could potentially be multiple rounds of bidding. But
Okay. Okay, well, let's see this thing in action, I guess.
yeah, everybody sits around. Daniel Wade stands up and gives a little introduction. He's like, I know this is a technology. Some of you may have difficulty believing that this miracle technology is real, but we're going to conduct a demonstration for you. Just so you can all be convinced when you're bidding. So George Palfrey kind of, his wife has to like help him up a little bit. He kind of shuffles with the cane over to the disintegrator device. Then he kind of talks to his wife. He wants her to stand like way back, make sure everybody is standing way back. There's a big statue, like a stone statue, of maybe like a gargoyle or something, that's been set up. He he sort of takes the disintegrator. He pulls the trigger and like is pointing at it. For a couple seconds nothing happens, and everybody's kind of like, and then suddenly the statue just like, it's as if the middle part of it just like like poofs away, and it just collapses into pieces. And everyone kind of gasps. um Daniel is like, please feel free to inspect the statue pieces if you want. We can perform the demonstration again with another object if anyone wants to choose something else they would like to see disintegrated.
Put a child in front of it. To see it do a person. All right. Yeah, I think we should do like a second demonstration with something like the audience chooses. I would like inspect the gargoyle pieces. It all looks normal, I take it.
Yeah, I mean it looks like a broken gargoyle statue. There are no burn marks from an explosive or anything like that.
Did we see a laser or anything, or was it just
No.
nothing moved between them?
Yeah. I mean, nothing visible.
Yeah,
Mm.
interesting.
Are the pieces of the gargoyle that were disintegrated, is there like any sort of residue?
There doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's a little hard to judge, like the thing fell and kind of the top part shattered maybe or whatever. But yeah, it literally looks like a big section in the middle of it just
Disappeared.
ceased to be. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Henry gets up and is visibly disturbed by what he has just witnessed, sort of standing up in shock and awe, and turns to Palfrey and says, where the hell did that piece of rock go?
It's
Don't
like
bullshit me.
it was disintegrated.
Yeah, got that.
That's what this event is.
Yeah, all right. So he goes, is Henry permitted to inspect the area?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's allowed to come up and inspect.
All right, so he's looking around and he's trying to get a view about where the device is lined up in terms of the statue.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to make sure that it's actually pointed at the area that was disintegrated.
It seems to have been, yeah.
All right, all right. And he turns to what was the name of the scientist who was speaking with
William Walker.
William Walker. And he says, you're the intellect around here. This is a fraud. You tell me, how could somebody pull off a stunt like that?
He's like, I have to admit, I couldn't tell you, but you know, stage magicians do impressive things. Maybe we should ask for a second demonstration, you know, select some object at random.
Yeah.
What is what is the radius that was disappeared out of the object?
It's pretty big. It's like a couple feet or something, you know,
Yeah.
or diameter is a couple feet or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. And does it look like mass was like there's no residue, so it is as if some of the mass was just taken away. There's
Yeah, as if
nothing
some of it
left
just
of-
ceased to exist. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, let's use something that's a couple feet larger than the radius so that we
Okay.
can. Oh, and also, so when we look at the edge where it was cut off,
Yeah.
are there any markings on that?
No, there are no burn marks. It's like a almost a perfect circle,
Interesting.
but yeah, there's no damage.
Even supposing the disintegrator isn't real, I turn to William and I say, do you know any weapon that could create such a perfect destruction of stone like this?
He's like, no, no, that would be very difficult. I mean, obviously, my first thought was an explosive hidden in the statue or something, but yeah, I don't quite see how that could be responsible for what we're seeing.
Henry is visibly upset and turns to Palfrey and says, you know, I don't know what kind of sick joke you're trying to pull here, but even supposing that this machine does what you claim it does, are you telling me that you're willing to put a device that could threaten all of humanity into the hands of a random bidder for the sake of cash, for the sake of money? Is that the kind of man that you are, Palfrey?
The auctioneer is Palfrey is about to respond, and the auctioneer steps in and he's like, please, sir, I understand you may be excited over the demonstration of this technology, but I'll have to ask you to be civil or I'll have you escorted from the premises.
Now listen here, sir. This is not a book. This is not a fancy piece of art. Whatever you rich fellows are into these days. I don't see this appeal myself. But this is something that could harm people. And you're passing it off as though it's just a random piece of jewelry.
He's like, well, you don't have to bid on it if you don't want.
It's not about what I want. What I want is for something of this caliber to be taken off the market entirely.
He's like, well, if you purchase it, then you can take it off the market.
All right, Dives.
Henry, it sounds like you're starting to believe.
I'm not even close to doing so. What I'm saying is that even if this is what you claim it to be, y'all are all exposing yourselves as a bunch of gutless, greedy pigs willing to throw aside the legacy of human civilization for the sake of a quick buck.
Henry got a lot more like politically conscious
Yeah.
since the last episode.
It's because he didn't take the drink.
Yeah, this is you sober. You just have like a real.
Yeah.
Then he says, you know, he's still not a believer. He's decided he wants nothing to do with the folks who are present here who do believe. He thinks it would be almost worse for it to be true at this point. But he is willing to, he says, you know, let's see another demonstration.
Okay. Yeah. Daniel was like, does anyone have a suggestion for what they would like to use as a demonstration object?
Do we have any items that would be useful for that? Let's see.
I don't think we did. I mean, there's got to be something around. Like, do we see anything around that?
There are chairs, there are tables, there are plants in the garden. There are probably things in the kitchen that could be used. You have suitcases, of course, overcoats.
I'd say, are there any trees in the distance?
There's a tree in the garden. They might not want to blow it up.
All right.
We should see it tested on organic matter.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what happens if it hits a living thing.
Um,
Like a smaller plant somewhere, like a potted plant we could put on a chair or something.
yeah, there's probably a potted plant that you could use. You suggest that?
Yeah, throw that out there.
Okay. Yeah, they put the plant on a chair. George, lines it up. He pulls the trigger again. A couple seconds, nothing happens, and then, sure enough, the like a big part of the chair and the entire pot and a bunch of the plant just disappear. And the chair kind of collapses into pieces with, some leaves and flower stalks and whatever falling to the ground.
As that's happening, could I try to toss something into the path?
Uh, you could. It would probably, I mean,
I'm
that's
feeling
not
really hard
allowed.
timing.
Yeah, I mean, you might like get thrown out if you do that,
Yeah, okay, maybe I won't do that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it appears to work on organic matter.
yeah, okay. Do we want to test it anymore? For example, we could try seeing if it can shoot through multiple objects because the way that there is no laser or bullet or anything seems kind of suspicious.
I mean, it did go through the plant and the chair,
Oh, true. Okay.
so we kind of got that. I think we need to double check the organic thing. Henry, get in there. Come on, it'll be fine. You don't believe in this, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't need to see any more demonstration, I don't think. But what does the crowd think? Does
Yeah,
everybody seem convinced, like as a group, or like?
everybody's pretty shocked. The physicist wants to touch the device, so he does so, and he notes that it's totally cold. It hasn't produced any heat, which is puzzling
Hmm,
to him.
hmm.
You notice George Pelfrey seems, after using it, like he's almost in even worse health. He kind of is wincing. His wife has to come and help him, go sit back down or whatever.
Can I also lend him my arm and help him sit down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny if it wasn't the object at all. It was just him. He just sells this thing. It's like, ah, fuck. Oh yeah, maybe we should ask that. Does it work if somebody else uses it?
Yeah.
Or would they not allow that? I guess I would ask that. I'd be like, would they allow, a, I don't know, one of like the security people, anyone else to use the object?
It seems like George prefers that he be the one to use it until it's sold.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, interesting. Um, hmm.
Maybe have a Mr. Corbett situation.
So I go up to the device. I want to take a look. I'm still skeptical. At this point, I don't think that I'm going to find any more information by looking at the plant's location. So I go to check the device. I'm interested in the design. I want to start fiddling around. I want to pull and inspect just the way that it's designed to see if I can come up with any sort of information about how it functions, but also whether the things that are like the tubes and
Yeah.
to the device are playing any actual role.
Roll education.
I never went to college. Let's see. Well, I got a 100. So
Oh no.
Okay.
fail.
So 100 is a fumble. So yeah, you look at it and you think you figure it out. Yeah, you understand that these tubes all make sense. You don't know why you doubted so much. Now that you get a look at the thing, yeah, it looks like a science thing.
Okay. So is there any effect that this has on me, like this experience and seeing something so otherworldly in terms of my previous skepticism about the Corbett case?
Um, it doesn't affect that. You do have the, I mean, you can think about the fact that like, boy, it's weird that this seems real and the other thing turned out to be fake. Um,
Listen, psychics are a dime a dozen, but every once in a while, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Even a broken psychic has actual telepathic powers twice a day.
Henry just keeps walking like ass backwards into getting his mind fucked with. It's awesome.
I look down the tube of Reagan.
George is like, please don't do that.
It disintegrates part of my frontal lobe.
Actually, roll spot hidden.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Boop. I got 15.
Again, what's your skill?
For spot hidden,
Yeah.
I have no spot hidden. It says 25% in parentheses.
Okay,
though.
so your base
Okay.
skill is 25%. Okay, yeah, you look down the tube. You can't see very well, it's very dark, but you think you see some sort of like rod or like a long cylindrical device or something in it. And like not any, machine parts or anything. Just sort of a harness holding some sort of cylinder in place. As you're looking at that, one of the guards comes over and like pushes you away and is like, please, sir, get
Hands off me. All right. I see something and I say, like now I really think it's a sham. I'm like, there's something in there. I don't claim to know how these things work. I'm not a magician, but something's going on here. There's something fishy.
Can I use my occult ability to understand what that is? Or
You can
Understand
roll.
what is the tube
Or-
he saw?
yeah, because I'm thinking maybe it's like a magic wand or something, but I don't know if
Yeah.
Dives would think something like that.
Yeah, you can roll a cult.
Well, I mean, does Henry tell us? Because we didn't see that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, okay, so I come up and I'm like,
There's a
Listen.
tube in there.
there's something's wrong with this device.
so it doesn't look like a Harry Potter magic wand.
I mean, listen, it's very obvious to me that there's nothing suspicious at all on the outside and that these tubes and stuff function perfectly legitimately. For all I know, it might be a fully functioning device, but there's something weird as well.
I got an extreme success for that occult
For a
check.
cult. Yeah, I mean, you don't know anything specific about this, but yeah, a rod or a cylinder, I mean, it could be something magical or supernatural or whatever.
Interesting. What is Andrew doing?
Arnold.
So I'm sorry, Arnold.
He's kind of, he's been sitting back. He sort of chuckles when Henry puts his eyes up to the barrel. He doesn't seem as surprised as the other people do. But he kind of goes around looking at things, inspecting them, whatever.
I'm going to turn to these two and be like, I'm going to go check on that guy. Do you want to
I would-
give me space or do you want to?
I would kind of put a hand on Dives' his arm a little bit and say, it seems like you two have some sort of connection, but find out what he knows. He doesn't seem exactly weirded out by this. Just see if he knows anything, if you would.
Yeah,
We want to know what you're bidding on, of course.
right. I mean, you guys are free to come if you want, but
I mean, Henry can do whatever I say. I'm gonna have another smoke and some new people, or at least one new person showed up. I'll probably kind of relax outside until the dinner.
all right. Henry, you coming?
Fine. Yeah, let me ask you something, Dives. You're
Okay.
here at this auction. You seem very interested in this device. Suppose for a minute that I accept, which I do not, that there is something unusual going on here. What exactly is it that you want to use this device for?
Oh, off the
can I
top of my head. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna break in after Henry says that real quick before you respond and just say, and now that we've seen the demonstration of the device and Henry can verify it, perhaps buy him a drink or two.
Now my radicalism will go out the window.
Yeah, Henry, would you want to grab a drink or something?
Always, just pass it to me.
Sure. Yeah. Are there even like people serving drinks out here?
Yeah, there might be.
Sure. Yeah. If there are any, I'll tip them very well to get some drinks.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll even get like three, one for Dive or one for me, one for Henry, and then one for Arnold.
Yeah. You probably don't tip them very well, actually.
No? Oh,
But
okay. Never mind,
yeah,
actually. Yeah, you're
you
right. I
you do
don't tip
order
them.
you do order some drinks.
Yeah, I order
Um,
drinks, but I don't tip them well.
yeah. Um, yeah, they bring some drinks out to you all.
Okay. Um, and I want to
Okay.
grab Henry and kind of pull him aside and say, as we're walking over to Arnold, have a quick conversation and say, like, you know, what you said about this being just sold to anyone who could use it for evil, that got me thinking, should we allow that to happen? Say if any of these people buys it and we're not able to, we have no idea what they might turn around and do with it. I think the questions you're asking are the right kinds of questions.
My questions are more directed at you at the moment, Dad. To be completely frank. I
Well, I
know,
mean, you brought that shotgun and
yes, we don't speak of this.
It's
I,
clearly
I
sticking out of your pants.
never mind. I noticed the tipping is pitiful on the part of Dive. And I'm kind of miffed at this. Just not upset necessarily, but I'm surprised because I've always known Dives to be a generous fellow. And I
oh,
said, have you come upon hard times financially recently? I noticed you barely paid them at all.
oh,
Um, doesn't seem to be it doesn't seem to be the Dives I know.
you know what? Honestly, I'm just very anxious about this bid. I'm looking around at how very wealthy these people are, and I'm a little concerned I might not have the capital to beat them out. So, uh, trying to conserve my money a little bit. I know it doesn't seem like much, but every penny can count.
So I've heard.
The the auctioneer is like, dinner will be served in 5 minutes inside.
I'm hungry at this point, so
Yeah.
I suggest that we go and we follow quickly to get there to get
All
our
right.
food
I'll just
off.
be like, Henry, think about, what I asked and get back to me. I'd like to know what you think as well. But you know, I'll sort of walk over to Arnold then,
Mhm.
and I'll just ask him, so what do you think?
It's like quite impressive.
Yeah. What would you use this for if you were to buy it?
He sort of chuckles.
Right, right. Mhm. Do you have any plans if anyone else is to buy it?
He's like, oh, well, of course, there are always plans.
I see, I see. Do you want to share any of that with me or?
He's like, oh, well, I would assume you already know.
Right, okay. Um, does it seem like I should know? In fact, did you tell me anything that I'm missing now? Because me, Lance, as the player, I have no idea.
Yeah, he seems a little bit confused that you don't know that you're asking these questions. But no, you Lance as the player I don't think you're forgetting anything.
Okay. Okay, then I'm gonna try to play it cool and just be like, yes, okay, right, the
Yes,
plan. Awesome.
of course, Socrates.
And I will just walk away quickly.
Yeah, you go into dinner. Pietro, the financier, says he's going to go up to his room for a minute. Some people go to the bathroom, whatever, but then they go. You're seated across from the bidder you haven't talked to yet. He introduces himself. Ernst Kepler.
Kepler.
Yeah.
Shit. Do any of our characters know who that is?
No, probably not.
All right. Is he joining us for dinner?
Yeah, I mean you're seated across from him.
All right. I'm curious. I ask. I'm like, so tell us about yourself, Kepler. What brings you to look at a device as strange as this one?
He's like, I'm representing an arms manufacturer.
I'm gonna like elbow Henry at that.
Yeah, I look over. I'm like, okay, once again, this is not a good thing for people to be inspecting. And I say, an arms manufacturer. Does this look like any arm you've ever seen in your wheelings and dealings?
He's like, no, it's totally unprecedented, but I don't know. You saw the demonstration.
I saw what we took to be a demonstration, that's for sure.
True.
And what is it that brings you to a place like this? I assume you work for, is it the United States government?
He's like, no, I work for an arms manufacturer, as I said.
Oh. And what interest would they have in a device like this?
Uh,
Are
well,
you able to reproduce the device itself?
well, yes, of course, that would be the hope.
Yes. To understand, how do you expect a device such as this to function? I took a look at it myself when we were outside, and all I saw were a very complicated array of tubes and mechanical pieces. I have no idea how they function though, although they seem to be functioning.
He's like, well, we'd have to uh inspect it after we purchase it, of course. If it turns out that it's some sort of fraud, then of course we could sue them, get the money back. The money is supposed to be held in escrow by a third party until it's confirmed that the device is reproducible. So, well, thank you. The waiters are now bringing out the food. All of you roll sanity as you realize you're being served the flesh of a sentient animal.
Like a,
Or
a normal farm animal that's sentient, or
Yeah.
being
I got a 47 is like a regular success.
11.
or
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. You all managed to keep your shit together.
Is it like a chicken or like
Yeah, it's chicken.
Oh, okay.
Um he
oh god,
he starts eating.
he was so young.
He's like yeah, yeah, so I mean, as you can imagine, the military applications are substantial if the thing can be reproduced, which if it's a real device, presumably it can be.
And even if you get control of this one piece of machinery, once it's reproduced, in the grand scheme of things, y'all have no idea who could use this and what intentions they might have. No.
He's like, well, I mean, uh, we'll sell to whoever we form contracts with, but I mean, we'll we'll own the copyright to the design, and
Yeah. So at this point, Henry has heard enough, and he's made up his mind that whatever happens, this device cannot leave this building.
okay.
Not making any.
People, there's sort of
Oh,
some
yeah.
murmuring as you get further into dinner. Pietro has never come back from his room. People are kind of wondering where he is.
Oh, should we go check on him? Maybe he just got lost.
Thomas, have you seen that Pietro guy anywhere lately?
Oh, did
Oh,
Thomas
it's
freeze?
Micah frozen.
R.I.P. King. All right. Well, in that case, yeah, Henry is skeptical at this point, and he suggests that they go up to maybe take a look and see where Pietro may have gone.
Mhm.
Okay.
I stand up, thank the host. Dinner was lovely, Mr. Palfrey. We're gonna step off to our rooms quickly, and we'll be back as soon as possible for the auction.
Yeah. Yeah, you go up to Pietro's room. The door is closed. Do you knock on the door?
Is there an
Yeah.
answer?
There's no answer.
Interesting. Okay. Where is Pietro's room in relation to our own?
Um, um, it's it's like a couple floors down.
Okay. I say we go back into our room and see if we can contact Pietro from the window, or see if we can get any sort of view of his room.
Do you have lockpicks? By chance?
Um, you do not have well, I don't think any of you have lockpick.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't.
or
Well, we could
lock
just
or whatever it's called.
could like
Um,
just ask hotel security. I'm assuming they have like a master key of some sort.
yeah, you could do that.
Do you
Uh,
guys think of that, or are you, Henry, too skeptical of everybody?
I'm willing to go and ask, or at least to notify somebody that maybe one of the guests is not present or is needs to
yeah.
be.
Okay, you go talk to the manager. And he's like, all right, we can go check on him. He grabs some keys and follows you up. Um, he unlocks the door, you open it up. The room is empty, and the window is open.
Okay, we go look out the window.
You don't see anything, just fog. It's now getting dark outside.
Okay, we
How
look.
many floors up are we?
Maybe two or three.
Oh, okay, so that's pretty high to jump.
Okay. At this point, we're getting pretty concerned, I suppose. Um,
And there's no like bed sheets tied to the window or anything.
No, no.
just gone.
Yeah.
All right.
This fog is weird, guys. Should we be okay? Can we? Is the hotel person still in the room with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we have a quick huddle in our own room?
Sure. And
I mean, did we fully inspect this room? Is there any like,
Oh.
is his luggage still in here?
Yeah,
All
his
his
luggage
stuff?
is there.
Nothing looks disturbed.
Bed is made.
is
Could
there a
we?
bathroom?
What?
Is there a bathroom?
Yeah, there's probably a private bathroom. Nothing looks too unusual
It,
about it.
to be clear, no one's seen him since he arrived and came up to his room, right?
Uh,
Was he
he
there for the
he
demonstration?
was there for the demonstration, yeah.
Okay.
He went up to his room, before dinner and never came back down.
Okay.
Hmm.
At this point, Henry tells the manager there's a man who's missing.
Yeah.
And it's at this point we should probably find some sort of search party. We know for a fact that he came up here. We know now that his window is open and the door was locked.
He's like, yeah, that's quite odd. I mean, it's possible he just stepped out or something, but yeah,
But
I'll have some of the staff go look.
okay. At this point, does the manager leave the room?
Yeah.
Okay. I turn to Dives and say, I don't believe in any magic. I don't believe there's anything unusual going on here, except for some sort of criminal activity. I don't know what crook wants to get their greedy palms on this device, and I don't know how it works or what they want it for. But I made the decision when we were talking to that Kepler freak downstairs. There's no way anyone in this building is leaving with that device. And I sort of gesture at my sawn off shotgun that I'm
Yeah. You know
sitting
what,
in.
Henry? I agree with you. I think this sounds really dangerous if it's real. We certainly
You
can't.
are intent on getting the device, Lance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So you think that even we shouldn't leave with it, Henry?
I don't think this device should exist, much less be left with anybody.
Well,
Even
So you do think it's real?
I don't care if it's real. I don't care what it is. At this point, I see a bunch of people who are wanting to use it for whatever they can. I'm not going to gamble on the reality of this. I don't know if it's science. I don't know if it's you know, some con man's idea of a funny joke. But I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that this device doesn't leave, and in fact is no longer functioning in the foreseeable future.
Henry, I think your instincts are good. I just don't think a full-on assault of this device here is the right thing. Every single person here will try to kill us or stop us. If we could get the device off the property, take it somewhere else, that would be better, right? Then we would have time to dismantle it, destroy it.
Isn't that what anybody would say who wanted to use this device for something that might be less than noble?
I mean,
Anybody,
sure, but
anyone in the world would say that they would want to use this thing for the good of other people. But when you have that much power concentrated in the hands of a single person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your intentions are. This is how harm is done. And
well,
with
yeah,
with
yeah.
a device such as this, the harm is incalculable.
Like an analogy for capitalism, wouldn't you say, Henry?
I'm not intelligent enough to make any comment on
He's got one drink in. He's like, no, I don't know.
yeah. I say Dives, listen, I I don't believe that this world is any more unusual than what the Bible tells me about it. But I do believe that whatever intentions you have when purchasing this device, uh you're gravely misguided. And I believe it's incumbent upon me to stop you.
I mean, at this point, I don't have any real clear intentions. I absolutely would love to understand it. I think the whole concept is fascinating, but I think that right here, right now, if I could buy it to prevent an arms dealer from getting their hands on it, then that would absolutely be good, and that would probably benefit humanity as a whole if this was not turned into a weapon and sold to militaries.
And what's the best way to prevent that, Dives?
Well, to try to buy it, and if we can't buy it, steal it.
And if we leave with this device, it still exists. What happens if we're robbed on the way home? What happens if somebody breaks into your own residence and takes it?
Well, okay, so if you want to destroy it here, how are you going to do that?
That's what we have to figure out.
The auctioneer steps into the room. He's like, everyone come down. We're about to start the auction.
Henry looks intently at Dives and sort of pats his gun and says, you know, We've got to figure out something. We have to figure it out now.
I'm gonna lean over and whisper just like okay, just don't get yourself killed. Don't get us in trouble. Let's let's be slow and smart about this, okay? If we buy it, then we can decide what to do with it later.
You head
Really?
downstairs.
Yeah, I head downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I follow.
Yeah, everyone is handed a card on which to write a bid and an envelope. And you write your name on the card, and then the envelope is anonymous. Um, which of you would like to submit a bid? I mean,
I'll
that would
submit a
be,
bid.
yeah.
I'll submit one as well. Why not?
Okay.
I don't bid yet.
Okay.
Now, oh, sorry.
Lance and Micah, both of you message me how much you bid.
All right, just directly.
Yeah, yeah, just to me.
$1 million.
That's not going to be enough. We got to start somewhere.
$5.
$5.
Okay. Yeah, you both submit bids. Lance, you're probably wondering why Micah is submitting a bid.
Why not? You know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, as people are, writing their bids in, there's a knock on the door, like from on the door that leads out into the garden. You see a very tall man. He's almost 7 feet tall, um, totally bald, wearing a black outfit, um, knocking on the door, and smiling.
I
He's a
guess.
tall, bald man knocking on the door that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Ugh. uh,
I'll say, Henry, get your toy ready in case this is trouble, and then I'll go and I'll open the door a little bit. Like maybe open it a foot and just say hello.
is there no
Yeah.
security around? Why are we doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, wait,
everybody
so
has heard this.
is
Everybody's
this our
paying attention now.
is this our own personal room, or is this like all the bidders are
No,
together?
you're in the ballroom downstairs with
Oh,
everybody
I'm
else.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe I won't take any action. I'll let someone else do it.
Okay. Um, yeah, after everyone kind of waits, to see what's going to happen, and the auctioneer walks over, and kind of opens the door, and he's like, "Hello, what?" The man's like, "I'm here to bid on the disintegration device." And the auctioneer is kind of like, it's just kind of on the guest list, he's like, sir, were you invited? He's like, no, I wasn't, but I have come a long way, and I'm certainly happy to bid quite a substantial sum for it. He pulls out a pouch and shows it to the guy. Um, roll spot hidden, everyone.
27.
Ooh.
40, so hard success.
Okay. Micah, roll history or archaeology or anthropology, whichever is highest for you.
Let's see. Oh, these are all really bad for me. I guess I'll go with, would library use count, or would it just be like history or?
You can't really use a library at the moment.
Okay. Oh, true. Um, hmm. Okay. I guess. Oh, I did put some points in history. All right, let's try this. Nope, that's a fail. I guess I could push it, but that's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I got a spot hidden success. Should I also try it?
Yeah, you can roll 2.
Okay. Oh, what is that? 56. Nah.
Okay. Yeah, the both of you managed to see into the bag. It's filled with gold coins of some sort. And but they look like very old. You don't know exactly where they're from. But they're like ancient gold coins. And the auctioneer is like, well, I mean, I suppose there's no reason we couldn't allow you to make a bid at least. Um, uh, why don't you just go ahead and come in out of the night, sir? Um, and the guy's like, thank you very much.
Like
Walks
that.
over and picks up one of the bidding cards.
That's a no for me, dog. All
This
right.
guy reminds me of Judge Holden, which is terrifying.
Okay.
Um,
So Henry turns and kind of shouts across the room, not necessarily shouting, but loud enough for his, for them to speak to each other, and just kind of asks Palfrey. He's like, "So we're just letting anybody come in and bid on this weapon of mass destruction?" Kind of a
Literally mass destruction.
hey,
Yeah. Uh,
He's he's like, well, talk to Daniel about it.
who the hell is Daniel?
The auctioneer.
All right, Daniel, we got to have some rules in place here. When we came into this building, I specifically asked Palfrey what the deal was with the people who are purchasing this, and he assured me that he had handpicked every person who would possibly be bidding on this device. Now, whatever small amount of trust that gains us, you're throwing it all away when you let a random stranger come in here and start purchasing weapons.
He's like, well, if he submits the winning bid, then we'll do an appropriate background check and so forth. And if we're not comfortable selling it to him, then it will go to the next highest bid.
All right. I storm off, dejected and unconvinced.
I was gonna say, while Henry is doing that, like when that starts, I imagine it creates somewhat of a scene. Would I be able to slip away and go back to my room real quick?
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
Trying to make a phone call.
Right.
Would I be able to from my room?
Yeah, there's a phone in your room.
Okay.
Yeah, you go back to make a phone call, but the line is dead.
Ugh. Okay. Um, awesome. Okay. I would, so Henry is stormed off. Where do you storm off to? I want to check to see if like I guess all the phones would be dead, right? It's kind of like can infer that probably. Um, hmm. Okay, I guess I just kind of come back down just as nonchalantly as I went. Uh, that's not great.
Okay. Do you tell anyone else about the phones being dead?
I would try to tell Henry if I could pull it because he said he stormed off. If I could get him off to the side,
Yeah.
I would kind of say like you mentioned you made a phone call earlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to
Um,
the first lady. She said some crazy shit about Dives and his political opinions.
right. But I went to make a call from my room and the line was dead
You don't say.
just now.
And when exactly do you think this occurred?
So I all I know is between whenever you made the call and now. I mean, I would assume maybe while we were all outside. I mean, it could be a weather event with this fog rolling in, but there seems to be a problem with the line itself. I would,
Ah, yes. Fogg's famous interference with the telephone.
yeah, I
And
mean, as I say that, I'd probably go, no, it was a problem with the line itself. I have no idea, honestly. Probably when we were all out at I mean, supposing it was something sinister, probably while we were all at the observation of the device.
Okay. I go to Dives and am at this point very concerned, and I say, listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who or what is at work here, but there's foul play, and we need to get out of here as quickly as we possibly can. I don't trust this man who's arrived, and I don't trust Palfrey.
So how do we square that with your other instinct that we don't let anyone else get their hands on this device?
Let's return to the device right now and grab the thing.
Just shoot it. I should have done this before. Can I, am I able to tell which people have weapons?
Well, if someone has a concealed weapon, probably not.
There's no sort of like, yeah. Okay.
You all hear a woman scream. There's a bit of a commotion. People, go check. One of the cooks was stepping outside for a cigarette and says that she saw something that looked like a huge bat, like a bat the size of a person. The auctioneer, and as she says this, someone else puts together that the searchers who went out looking for Pietro have not returned.
All right.
All right, we're fucked.
Henry.
We gotta get out of here.
Henry, does your Bible say anything about vampires?
The only thing I know is that angels and people have gotten up to some crazy shit in the past. So who knows? Who knows what ungodly creatures could be out there?
Okay, which of us is the best at driving?
I don't think I am.
I don't know we necessarily need it, but I'm just curious. Oh, I actually have pretty decent. I have 50 in drive auto.
I have
All right, okay, at this point, if okay, Dives, can you stay here and keep an eye on the people, the auctioneer, like the bidders, make sure nothing else like goes awry, and Henry, can we talk for a moment?
Sure.
let's do it.
All right, should we go back up to our room? I mean, where's the most like private place? This is like a
Yeah.
conversation.
The auctioneer sees you, considering leaving or whatever, and is like, "Please, everyone calm down. Everyone calm down. Everything's fine. We're going to open the bids in just a moment."
Okay.
Got an idea now. Hold on.
So do they reveal at the end of each round like what the highest previous bid was or something?
Yeah, what the
Okay.
highest bid was.
And how many rounds are there?
It could be, it's at the discretion of the auctioneer.
Okay.
And whether it seems like people might submit a higher bid next time.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have any?
Probably it would go until a higher bid was not submitted.
Yo.
I guess I haven't specified this for my character, but would it be? I guess this is something he would want to do, if not now, from here on out. Would it be reasonable to suppose that like Thomas has like a small like notebook and pen he keeps on him just to like write like observations down?
Yeah.
Is that fine? Okay. If I'm able to scrawl something to Henry at some point, I will, but I suppose I'll wait till after the bidding.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Daniel, it's clear that Daniel, the auctioneer, like his main concern is just making sure that this auction goes forward. So he's like, everyone, please calm down. There are large owls that live in the woods here. I'm sure that's all that she saw. Now, if we can just begin opening the beds, there's someone else there, maybe the manager of the hotel. Like they both um are checking the bids as they open them. As he opens one, the manager sort of gasps, and they begin like chattering to each other. You can all roll spot hidden.
Oh man. 99.
52, so I mean just regular success.
Regular success. Okay, Micah,
But-
you managed to. Oh,
72.
okay. Yeah, Micah, you managed to kind of crane your neck, and you managed to make out the card says your lives on it, and has been submitted anonymously.
Oh, oh, cool.
Uh,
Um,
they sort of talk to each other. They call one of the security guards over. Everyone in the audience is kind of chattering. Daniel is like, it's fine, nothing to worry about. Just a slight inconsistency here. Um, um, they go back to opening them. Daniel is like, all right, we have two tying bids. So that we have two bids at $1 million for the device. So in light of that, I think we'll hold a second round of bidding quite soon. And what's that? Yeah. Okay, yes. I've been told that the phone lines are down. We're looking into that. I'm sure that they'll be up again in just a moment. Everything should be fine. And yes, as I say, let's have about 15 minutes, and then we'll submit another round of bids. Everyone in the audience is like very weirded out by this point. People are kind of looking over at Mr. Sleep. Yeah, except for Mr. Sleep. Except for the tall guy who's just like kind of sitting there smiling.
I hate that dude. Alright. So we're looking over at him. I'm gonna ask Thomas. It seems like you saw something, Thomas. What did you notice?
Oh, the
Oh,
card that said
sorry.
your lives on it.
Well, I guess I would take this point to like after I saw that I would start scrawling. Um, I would kind of scrawl like hiding my notebook, keeping it close to me. I would write like bullet points. So like quickly, I would just say I'd put like a bullet point that said bid said your lives in quotes. Then I would write need phone federal backup. That's all I would write, and I would kind of show it to Thomas, like, oh, I've done some math here on this, or not. Sorry, I'm Thomas. Henry. I would with some like say, like, oh, I don't know. I would come up with some bullshit. I mean, I'm showing him a small notebook. I don't think anybody's gonna see it. I'm gonna make sure there's no one around, but I would probably just show it to him with like a quizzical look, like, oh, look what I drew, something like that. And that's what it says. It says, bid said your lives in quotation marks need phone, have federal backup or something like that. Let's show that to you, Henry. And then I guess I have that last bullet point that would just say like, be cool. I don't know. Well, the 1930s equivalent of like, don't give anything away is,
Like a
you
fair
know.
amount of our dialogue has been pretty anachronistic at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, just it's self-translated, but
All right.
it's an eldritch horror from beyond the stars.
All right. So, we know the bids. Okay, we know that we've got two bids. Do we know who placed the bids?
I mean, they're anonymous, but we could
Yeah.
probably put together, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
tell you guys that I bid a mil. And when
Alright.
they say there were
I
two
figured.
bids for a mil, like I clearly look disappointed. I'm starting to sweat a bit, like shoot, I don't know if I can go that much higher.
Yeah. At this point, I think the fact that there's somebody else who's so eagerly willing to set aside $1 million for this thing makes me think we probably do have to get a hold of it through the bidding process.
Well, more worrying. This is the bid of the guy that's gonna kill us all.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Um,
I should have asked Dustin, did Thomas have any psychological reaction to hearing about a man-sized bat creature? Or did he kind of just
It might be reminiscent of the thing that scratched your face. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
yeah,
um,
forgot about that.
Yeah.
yeah, that
So
probably wasn't wonderful to hear necessarily.
You
Yeah,
okay, Thomas? You look a little pale.
oh, I should have also written that in the note. I might have to scrawl another one. I can say could call from Kingsport. We just need to get away, something like that. I'll show him another one, like, look at this. And I'm showing these just to Henry for now, because well, I'm not letting this on in character, but I'm slightly suspicious of dives at this point. Uh, so I'm just showing Henry that as well. Like Kingsport has phone. If I can get away.
Um, I'm beginning to feel like we should probably make some sort of public announcement. Or
Like what?
I don't know.
There's bad people here to get the magic ray gun. Everybody run for your lives.
Fucking bad person. Okay.
If you guys could cover for me, this is metagaming. I could drive to Kings. I mean, how far of a drive is it, Dustin? Like, do we know? Like,
It's not a very far. It's not a very long drive. Um,
Oh, if we're going anywhere, we're going together and we're not
I,
leaving.
well, I mean, you have to stay. You guys have to stay here to keep an eye on the device and the people. I could say that I had some bad. The chicken we had is not sitting right with me, or something, and I could, I can maybe sneak away to drive down. That seems like our only option to get back up, unless we want to just try to handle shit, the three of us. But last time we barely made it out. That was like one dude.
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't
Remember
have
how
a.
much we suck?
Oh yeah. Okay.
as you're contemplating this, one of the staff walks in and they begin having a conversation. At this point, it's clear like Daniel and the hotel manager are trying to like keep everything under wraps, but by this point, people are like demanding info.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was gonna say. Like
yeah,
we should get
it
an
looks like there's supposed to be a car that comes up around this time to take, the bartender, some of the people who are not going to be staying the night at the hotel, some of the staff who are not going to be staying the night at the hotel to bring them back down into Kingsport. Um, but the car apparently, you can, if you look out the front window, you can see it down the road a bit. You can see the headlights through the fog, but the car has like stalled out.
Hmm.
And Daniel is like, I'm sure it's fine. I mean, some people could go check if they wanted, I guess.
Daniel, why don't you join us? Let's all go together.
Um, Daniel is like, I should stay here to ensure the integrity of the auction.
Right.
Has the guy that walked in, he's tall and bald, right? That's his.
Yeah.
Has he's kind of like hanging out, having a drink? Is his
He's
like
just saying he's
disposition changed?
no, he's not drinking. He's just hanging out smiling.
You
Great.
should talk to him.
That's what I was thinking. But I mean, I don't think that's gonna get us anywhere, but it'd at least be fun.
I'd like to ask him if he'd like to go check out the car with us. He's a
Yeah,
big young guy.
he's gonna rip our heads off.
I know.
If we-
I
uh,
100% think he's a vampire.
yeah, you're welcome to ask him that. I'm not going with you, but if you
Yeah, I almost feel like we should just go and try to talk to that guy, try to get more information from him. Um,
Okay, so Dustin, sorry if I cut anybody off, but like reading the room Thomas is now, is this like, since there's kind of general like commotion, would this be,
Yeah.
would I be able to kind of like slip away and get outside, like to where Dives' car is without like causing too much, like being too noticed?
You might be able to. Um,
I think
it would probably be like I mean, one thing is people are now paying attention to like, oh, there's this car outside, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, with a stealth check, maybe with a bonus die or something, you know, you could get out.
probably gonna get eaten if I go outside too, but we gotta do like something. I don't really feel like getting in a gunfight with Judge Holden in here. Bad creatures outside. Um, I would probably like metagame. What do you guys think? Because I'm thinking like play it off like I got a stomach bug. I asked Dives for his keys. I'm to go have a smoke. And like if I feel too bad, drive down to Kingsport.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm happy to see you give it a shot. If you do that, I'm like 70 to 80% sure that you will not get out.
Yeah.
Me too. But I feel like in character I'd have to try because I think if we stay in here,
Yeah,
we're fucked.
yeah. I
Um,
give it a shot. Why don't you? And then I think Dives, you and I should probably go try to speak with this tall bald guy.
Yeah.
I feel like our
Under
only other option at this point is just start opening fire on people.
Yeah.
not yet. Um okay, here's what I'll say. Listen, Dives. That's $1 million is a lot of money. You're the
It
only
is.
person I know who could put that up for what is clearly a fake machine. Now, it doesn't seem to me to be any kind of accident that this random stranger shows up right as your bid is matched. So I suggest that what we do is go and speak to this fellow and figure out what his interest is in the device in the first place.
I agree. I'd like to talk to him.
Yeah.
By the way, and sorry, outside of the game, I probably can't stay playing for a lot longer.
Yeah, I was going to I was planning to wrap things up in just a
Oh,
minute.
okay. No worries. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Micah, you're trying to go outside.
Yeah, that'd be the idea if I could get Dives car keys, and slip out.
Yeah.
Do you give him your car keys?
Yeah, I do. I give you the car keys.
What do you tell him that you're trying to do, Micah?
Oh, like I said, I was like, chicken didn't sit right with me. Well, I don't know if Dives would buy that actually. Um,
I think Dives kind of trusts you. And
Yeah,
if
that's
he
true.
can tell that you're making kind of like a bullshit explanation for why you need to leave, Dives is looking around. He notices this place is weird. Something's clearly
Yeah.
going on. He
yeah, so
trusts
I
you
guess
like
that's
he's
what I
not
would say out loud, but if possible, give you kind of like a look, like,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He gives you the keys. You can roll stealth with a bonus die, Micah.
yeah, if anything else, I could even say I have to make a phone call for work, and all right, so bonus side means I roll twice, right?
Yeah, and take the better
Uh,
result.
stealth, all right. All right, first one's a fail. Let's see. And second one's a regular success. All right, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
39 on 60.
All right. You slip out. Um, you go to the car, Dive's car.
Yep. Is it drained of gas?
Um, it does not start.
All right.
Um,
Now, okay. Now that I'm out, do I notice anything outside? Like, can I see any more about like the car that's down the road? Is there anybody else outside? Like,
uh, there's someone standing in front of that car.
oh, like in front of the car that's way out there, I can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Does it look like they're working on it, or can I tell from this far away?
They're just standing there.
Cool. How far away is it?
100 feet, 200 feet. I mean, not that far. Maybe, well, farther than that, but a couple 100 feet. It's not that far.
Hmm. Yeah, I figured this wouldn't work. Just out of curiosity, I'm not going to try to do this right now, but just out of curiosity, how far of like a walk or jog would it be to Kingsport? Like an hour or two?
Yeah, it's like a couple miles.
Oh, that's not terrible actually.
Um,
But I'm not about to.
Bro,
yeah.
you die.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back in.
Okay.
Um,
The
Guy out there.
huh?
You
yeah,
gotta find out what this guy is.
I'm not going out there. I'll let
the
you know there's
guy
a, when I come back in, I'll tell you.
the guy calls for you. Micah.
Like
He's like,
by name or
yeah. He's like,
Micah.
Thomas,
Oh, Thomas.
Thomas,
is
and
it a
begin walking to you.
is it a voice I recognize?
Um, you don't know. I mean, as he walks towards you, it looks like it's maybe one of the hotel employees, maybe one of the people who went out in the search party earlier.
Sure, it looks like that. I would where okay, so how far like away from the hotel entrance am I? Like I came out, went to the car, didn't start, got out, like
Yeah. Again, maybe like a couple 100 feet.
okay. I mean I would yeah, I'm fucked. Yeah, I'd just respond and say you know, do we know each other? You all right?
It's like, you must return the spatial annihilation device. It
Uh,
belongs to us by right. You are in extreme danger. There is non-primate life inside. Return the device. You must return the device, or you will all die.
Didn't he? There's chicken inside.
yeah, that's what he's referring. But I think the chicken's all dead, isn't it? It's just we're eating it.
That's my first conclusions.
Non-primate life. What the fuck? Okay. I'd say, I I don't have it, but I can try to help you. What do I need to
You
do?
must return the spatial annihilation device.
Okay,
You
return it to
have
where?
1 hour. The employee just sort of slumps forward and falls, just like falls on the ground. You see some sort of tendril like retract into the darkness. Roll spot hidden, Micah.
Ah, sweet. Multiple eldritch forces. Okay, that's a failure. I guess, can I push spot hiddens?
Yeah, we can let you push it.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Seems like an important one. And that is a regular success, 64.
Okay. Yeah, you see the tendril retracts and you can barely make out the outline of something that does indeed look like a huge bat or like a huge, humanoid insect or something, like flying back into the darkness. As the hotel employees, slumps over, you see that the back of their head has been removed and most of their brain has been removed. And there's just like some sort of mechanical device that's been implanted on the top of their brain stem that this tendril was plugged into. And you roll sanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Naturally. That's a regular success, 47 on 50.
Okay. You still, yeah, okay. You lose 6 sanity, Micah.
Okay.
And with that, maybe we break.
All right.
Awesome. Sweet.
Oof.
Eldritch horrors beyond my comprehension.